Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2018 IPA Freesports Champions Cup. It's week number 5 and we're in Sheffield this evening. Here's what we've got to look forward to. We've got two cracking games coming up tonight. Jack Heckingbottom takes on the Welsh wizard Jordan Shepherd. And in our second game of the night, it'll be Jason Rimington taking on Michael Rhodes. The two games will each have a winner, and the winners will both head through into a final. The winner of that final will move through into the second stage of the Champions Cup. We've already had 4 weeks of fantastic competition. This is week number 5, and it's safe to say the competition is shaping up very nicely indeed. Stephen Jameson here with you on the commentary. I'd like to say we're joined by Kevin Barton alongside the IPA president. Kev, lovely to have you with us. How much are you looking forward to Sheffield? This is your sort of area here down in Yorkshire.
Yeah, it's nice not to have to travel too far, but however far it'd have been well worth it for tonight's lineup. Arguably the strongest lineup that we've had here in week 5. And I think we're in for 3 absolutely cracking matches between these 4 great players.
Well, let's take a look at the 2 players there in our first game. On the left there is Jack Heckingbottom, Jordan Shepherd on the right. Now, viewers, don't be too confused. Jack Heckingbottom, one of the younger players that we have in this Champions Cup, but we saw him having a little bit of a warm-up earlier, just before the camera started rolling here in Sheffield, and it's safe to say this kid has got a lot of talent. Yeah,
he's the local qualifier. He won the qualifier down at Murphy's Club, where both these guys play. So they're going to play each other in and out of competition, know each other's games inside out. So yeah, he's one of the rising stars coming through. So you know, Jordan is the seed, and you know, on paper he is the favourite. But don't be surprised if he gets turned over by young Jack.
Yeah, Jordan Shepherd is a phenomenally talented player, and one of the most entertaining players to watch on the circuit as well, because he can whip off a frame in 30 seconds flat if he's feeling like it.
Yeah, unfortunately he's not got his trainers on tonight, but he is the fastest player on the circuit, bar none, and if he gets in full flow, you know, this match could be over in 20 minutes, and you know, that's the nature of Jordan, nature of black ball, ultra aggressive play. He's not going to be holding back, that's for certain, and he's under a lot of pressure as well. You know, he's expected to win this. You know, he's seen the 4 seeds before him in the 4 previous weeks all come through unscathed, and you know, the pressure is on him to keep that going. So interesting to see how he copes with it.
Yeah, it's almost actually been getting gradually more competitive as the weeks have gone on, and that's just going to come up dry, I think, actually, the first break of the game.
No, he's got a red, I think.
Oh, he's got a red right at the start. Yeah, there we go, right in the middle pocket. Actually missed that just right off the start, but he's all right. He'll be pleased to get one down, because the lie there is pretty nice if he hadn't have done. But just as I was alluding to before, it's actually got more and more competitive as the weeks have gone on. Mark Farnsworth and Ronan McCarthy qualified through pretty straightforward in the first couple of weeks, but Craig Marsh had to battle pretty hard, and then Christian Phillips really had to work hard last week in Cardiff.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty unpredictable each week, I think. You know, the live TV, as we've said before, is very new to all these players, and you know, it's whoever settles down the best that will probably come through, you know, because they've all got the talent, but they need to make sure that they're playing the game and not the situation. So yeah, I fully expect 3 really competitive matches tonight. Very difficult to pick a winner.
Jordan is in amongst the balls in this first frame, opted for yellows, which is no surprise given the lie of the balls. And you pick out any problems for him here, Kev, does it look pretty straightforward?
Well, you know, each ball goes, he's got to make sure he takes them in the right order. They're not absolutely perfect, and you know, he has got some work to do. The 2 yellows on either side of the black spot are ones that he's going to need, you know, really good position, and I think he's just slightly overrun that one for that bottom yellow. But he has got options, but he's going to take this one into the right middle, I think, now, and he needs to make sure that he leaves himself a perfect angle on his next yellow into the bottom left-hand corner pocket to run the white through for this last yellow into the right corner.
Yeah, just saw where he left his cue there. That's where he ideally wants to leave the white ball. And it looks like he's played that pretty perfectly. Yeah, there you go. Lovely shot from Jordan Shepard. As I mentioned, these two were just warming up with each other, alongside each other on the table, just getting a feel for the cloth and for how the cushions are playing. As Jordan Shepard racks up his first frame. Lovely break and a dish from the Welshman. But what was really striking for me about the way Jordan plays, he almost plays, if you think he plays pretty freely when he's at the table in a big match, the way he plays in practice is something quite remarkable, isn't it? Absolutely phenomenal. Just before we mention that, we should mention Jack Heckingbottom's recent tournament history, and there's a lot of close games in there, which is really nice to see. Got quite far in the European amateurs, a little bit disappointed maybe to be at the British Open towards the end of the year. Did get into the World Championships non-seed second round, where he's beaten by Dan McVicker, but he's been a bit of an up-and-comer for a little while.
He is, and you know, he's one of these young kids who's pretty fearless, and he's had some great individual performances. He's just got to you know, get that consistency and you know, do it over a tournament rather than just an individual match. But we're going to see now just exactly what he can do. He's got his first opportunity in the match.
You say he's looking for that consistency over a tournament. A sort of advantage of the Champions Cup is these almost mini tournaments week by week. He's only got to do it for a couple of games. If he's on fire, anything can happen for him. And I think we've seen with a few of the qualifiers that nerves have really got the better of them. But a good first break, he'll be feeling pretty good. And I think it might go one of two ways with Jack. He'll either be really nervous or he'll just be completely fearless.
Yeah, or maybe a little bit of both. But I'm sure the nerves will be there. He'd almost be inhuman if he wasn't. Even I felt a few nerves a couple of weeks back, and I've been playing probably about 30 years longer than Jack has. But
only a few, as again. He might just have come stuck a little bit early on in his break hit.
Touching ball.
Referee calls touching ball, which means Jack's just run a little bit out of position.
Yeah, just got into that one a little bit too much, and left the white in a place where he hasn't got a pot on. Very difficult for him to conjure anything up. I mean, he could play something quite adventurous and maybe white off the right hand rail and try and put the one into the centre bag. But that is
extension.
And that's the first time I've heard the shot clock tick down. That's one feature of the Champions Cup which we haven't quite broached yet. The 45-second shot clock, in playing for every single shot, players get one extension per frame. Jack using his that. And just looking to rest up on this bottom red, and he's played that really nicely on top of the table from Jordan in acknowledgement of that shot. That's about as good as Jack Heckingbottom could have played that.
Yeah, I think we just saw some early signs of nerves there. Just got into into the white a little bit too much, a little bit of extra adrenaline. It was a fairly basic positional shot, but he's still in a good position in the frame.
But as we know with Jordan Shepard, he's not a player that really appreciates a safety battle. If there's any option for a pot, he's going to take it.
He certainly is. They are definitely collector's items. A Jordan Shepard safety shot, and he's with that great pot in the top left. He's turned this frame right around. Great opportunity now to take a 2-0 lead. Slightly undercooked that one. Probably use the red as a guide. I don't think he can play playing ball. I think he needs to screw the white across. So I think he'll just use the red possibly as a cushion. or he may change his route completely, which he is doing.
He's such a natural player to watch, isn't he? Get the hand on the tail, get into they have their little superstitions, they have their rhythm that they like to play. Jordan's hand down and the shot's almost played before he's even got down, you know?
Yeah, he's certainly one of those players that people love to go watch play.
Almost like a touch player in tennis. He really just relies on the feeling. Very natural player to watch.
He's certainly one of those players that's got X factor, and when he's on, and it looks like he's on tonight, he's a handful for any player in the world. But this is a tough black. But as you can see,
made it look easy.
He's just nailed it, no problem.
Yeah, lovely shot from Jordan Sheffield. He moves into a 2-0 lead here in Sheffield. Perfect start from the Welshman. Here's what he's been up to recently over the last sort of half a year, and a bit of change as well. Had a great run to the UK professional final where he's beaten by recent world champion Ben Davies. And he'd have been a little bit disappointed with his performance recently in the Welsh Open, but did have a good run to the Welsh Professional semi-final where he was beaten by in-form Ronan McCarthy.
Yeah, and he was many people's tip to win the World Championships, and unfortunately he had probably one of the toughest first-round matches that he could have wished for against Lee Clough. Probably the worst sort of opponent for Jordan that he could have been paired up against.
Especially over a long format as well.
Yeah, and you know, Lee's style is not something that you know, Jordan likes to play against, and yeah, so not a great draw for him.
Yeah, we watched that actually live on Freesports. Another red down in the exact same pocket from Jordan, but he's gone in off, so a bit of an opening here for Jack. Jordan getting nicely into his break again. Let's just take a look at this. And he's a little unlucky, couple of ricochets, that's all it takes.
That is so unlucky, I mean, you know. So this is an important point in the match, I think, for Jack. If he's going to threaten Jordan with his first free visit, and he needs to make the most of this now. I mean, the yellows are lined up pretty well, so he's got to just work his patterns out. He's going for reds. I'm surprised at that.
And why?
I thought he may have used his first shot to develop the left hand of the two yellows at the bottom of the table, and then, you know, everything else would have been pretty much in the open. The red, you know, he's got one tricky one that he's got to get good position on. The one on the left rail, the bottom rail. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he goes about this this clearance.
It's part of what makes the game so interesting to watch, though, is that every player has a completely different perspective on it.
Absolutely. There's no numbers on balls to tell you which order to take them in. You know, you've got to work that out for yourself.
The thing is with Jack as well, he's such a young player that he's going to have a pretty unique perspective on the game, not having the same level of experience as some of the senior pros.
Yeah, that can work both ways, of course, but again, he's just slightly run out of position there.
Yeah, I think he wanted to be on the red directly below the white, but I think you can see the red to the bottom left, which is what he's going to look to take on.
So doing what Jordan did in the first frame, just slightly changing his path, and I think he's in the middle of nowhere there. He's got a very difficult clip along the bottom rail. I think that's his only shot.
Yeah, I think we can see there the red doesn't pass the black into the middle bag, and he fancies taking up to the top of the table. That's a horrendously difficult shot. So along the bottom rail it goes. Tough shot this, but if he gets it, he's in a pretty good position.
It's a good attempt. It's not dropped.
Just didn't quite drop. And you can see there he was guaranteed to be on the red in the middle of the table.
It's just looked so close, but
he is unlucky there, isn't he?
You've got to be precise on those shots.
Yeah, no margin for error there whatsoever. And the thing is, with clearing up a few balls, is now most of them are pretty out of the way for Jordan. And I don't be surprised to see this frame over very, very quickly.
Yeah, he just wanted that off the cushion, so he could play this one into the top left as we look now, and then screw back. But he can't do that when the white's on the cushion, so he's going to have to come up with plan B. Which is very difficult to predict with a player like Jordan Shepard, because he's probably got B, C and D up his sleeve.
And he probably hasn't even thought of E and F yet, but they're probably there.
Yeah, give him 10 seconds and he'll probably have those options as well. So you can see where he stood now is where he wants to try and leave this white ball. He's going to be near the cushion again. He needs that to bounce off. It's two attempts he's had to get on this yellow. This is a tricky shot.
No, didn't he play it well? Well, really had to jack up there to play that, and now he's got the options of both yellows into their respective middle pockets, back in open table.
I should have rephrased that. It was tricky to normal players.
You were looking at that as a player and thinking, oh, that's not a shot I'd like to take on, and 2 seconds later Jordan's played it absolutely perfectly. Oh, well. Well, just as we were singing his praises. Well, I'm loath to call that a mistake just yet until we see the replay of the ball. I think he got a little bit unlucky with the way that came back out of the pocket. I'm not sure it was a miss, as it were.
Well, I think the pace was, you know, when you play them into middle bag at that pace, you have got to be absolutely spot on with the pot. And you know, if you're just a fraction out, you know, these pockets won't take the pot.
Here's a replay of it.
You see, he hit the near knuckle.
No, it is just a straight up miss.
Yeah, he hit the near knuckle.
Yeah, the pace he played it, it almost made it look like it had hit the back of the pocket, but no, that's just a rare miss from Jordan. It's opened it up for Jack, and he's got a good chance here.
This is one of those little nervy ones. You'll probably just try and roll it in plain ball, not do too much with the white, just maybe leave it near the top cushion as we look. If we can hold it there. Or he may just bring the white to the side of the table where the yellow is. Just can't quite tell on the angle.
Yeah, that first frame means a lot to Jack Heckingbottom. He won't want to overcomplicate things.
If he's feeling a bit negative, he may try and put a lot of bottom on the white and screw the white down to the bottom end of the table.
He's played an extension, so he's having a bit of a think about it. He knows how important this is.
Yeah, he played the bottom on the white, and he's played it really well. Again, he wants another bounce.
Well, he's not left an easy black at all. Played the pot, lovely. Played it really nice.
This is a horrible shot.
It is, yeah. Which pocket are you aiming for here? Because you've got a few options.
I think he's going bottom left. Going for the clip. It looks good.
It's a lovely shot. Really nice shot from Jack Heckingbottom, who chalks up his first frame. He'll be delighted with that little giggle between him and Jordan. Having a bit of a chat with each other. These two do know each other very well. And he'll be really pleased to get that out of the way.
That was a top quality black ball. You know, that was not an easy shot. He knew that that was the difference between 2-1 and being right in the match, and 3-0 and you know, staring down a 6-0 whitewash. All of a sudden, it's completely changed the profile of the match. So. And it's Jack to break as well, so you know, after all Jordan's dominance at the start of the match, it's on serve, as it were. So still very much anyone's match at the moment.
Jack to break, trailing 2 frames to 1.
Nothing in at the moment.
Oh, he's unlucky. Look how many balls are at the top of the table for not one of them to drop. He's really unfortunate. You can see the red there racing towards the corner and jittering itself out.
Yeah, there's a few trying, but haven't quite made it to the back of the pocket. And straight away, John's going to be looking at these reds.
Well, he might only be a young player, Jack Heckingbottom, but sure he's already well versed in the frustrations of having a great break which comes up dry.
Yeah, interestingly, he's using his normal cue. I think from the looks of it, I don't think he's using a break cue. And a lot of the players these days using break cues. But, really, just whatever you feel most comfortable with. I don't think there's any. There's no magic formula. You just hit them as hard as you can.
And that's just thinking about preservation, isn't it, of their main cue, because they've got to hit the break as hard as possible. It's just all about preserving the magical tip on the cue.
Yep, it is. And it's horses for courses. You know, some people swear by them. Some people have been through 5 or 6 different ones. And yeah, it's just whatever you feel comfortable with. So this frame's going to come down to the positional shot from the red into the left corner, left centre for his last ball here. This is not going to be easy. Where's that white ball going? Oh, it's awful.
Makes this a very tough shot, doesn't it? Just actually need a little bit more on that in the end there, Jordan Shepard.
I think he's okay.
I think the pot's pretty makeable. The white's going to go on the move again. Oh, he just held it off the yellow. Lovely shot.
Made it look easy. And this is a delicate black into the centre. Very thin. And there he goes.
But no trouble at all for Jordan Shepard. He makes it 3-1 in no time at all. He'll do that.
Yeah, he's it's incredible how quick he plays, and when he's on, he's on. And you know, we saw the careless mistake, and that will always happen the way Jordan plays at that speed. You know, and he will always make a careless one, but he will offset that by playing something absolutely crazy as well. So you get all sorts with Jordan Shepard. Great to watch.
As the stats so far, one that will really hurt Jack Heckingbottom is the dry breaks, the one dry break. Not what he was after.
Yeah, that was a reverse dish there from Jordan.
It looks like Jordan himself has come up dry there.
Jordan's turn for a dry break, yeah.
And he's using pretty well spread.
He's using the break cue, so we might be trying another one next week.
Yeah, just goes to show what we were saying a little bit earlier. No magic formula. If there was, it'd make your lives far less stressful, eh?
That's right, yeah, we bottle it and sell it. So first opportunity to Jack. So he's got a few problem areas with the reds on the left and the right hand side, but such is how these young guys play. That's not going to stop them looking for a finish from somewhere. Be already working that out, how he can develop them or work the position out.
You can just see there where he's marking his cue. That's where he wants to leave the white after this shot.
He's got to do some developing.
Left it exactly where he wanted it.
just a little bit too straight. And playing on this cloth, I don't think Jack is had much experience of playing on the Strachan 861 cloth. So you know, it may, you know, some of those positional shots where you need, you know, to be millimetre perfect may just catch him out as it did there, I think.
Extension.
Yeah, this cloth plays absolutely lightning fast.
And true as well, you know, as you don't have any finger marks on this. You know, you hit a ball straight and straight it goes, no deviation, which is quite weird for a pool player to see. We're normally used to seeing a bit of nap and a bit of curl, but the fact that it goes absolutely straight is quite
just tried a little bit of a billiard shot and didn't quite come off. And you saw in the back of the picture there, Jordan Shepherd straight to his feet.
But yeah, he's tried to play the pot there off the back of the red, and you know, aggressive shot, and you know, he's not left Jordan anything straightforward here. Is it going for a long plant or no?
I think we may have just seen a safety shot from Jordan Shepherd, possibly. Such as
Not
his,
quite sure what that was, to be honest.
yeah, such as his.
It was either a really bad attempt at a double or a really bad attempt at a safety.
And given his ability at making a pot, I'm tempted to say the former. That's a strange shot there from Jordan. Let's let Jack back in.
Oh, that's a bad shot there from Jack. He did have an opportunity there to go for the match, even though he's got that red on the right hand side. He can get behind that and play it either into the centre or the top right, as we look there on screen.
No, I think he did only have half a pocket to go in there, but he's missed that thick, which means he's hit it in the other half of the pocket. It did require precision, but it just wasn't quite there for Jack on that occasion. And Jordan looking to develop his problem ball. He might just have done it. I think he'd have been looking for a little bit more to be safe. Knock it right over the middle pocket.
Yeah, there's no obvious problems here for Jordan. So I think he's probably going to run the white up to the top end of the table, and I think if that yellow goes into the centre, he'll be looking to clip that in the centre. And this yellow on the left-hand side will be his last ball.
Yeah, and he's so far behind it that actually, even if it didn't go into the centre, it could probably squeeze it all the way down the cushion. This is where we find out if it does go. But yeah, it looks like he's flipping this into the middle.
Where's that white going? Yeah, well, he's on it, but again, the speed of the table catching Jordan out there.
Good shot here to hold the white. He's played the pot beautifully. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Really well played.
Yeah, played that with a lot of control.
Black is safe. Jordan Shepherd races into a 4-1 lead. Really nicely done from the Welshman. That's exactly the start he'd have been looking for. And as Jordan heads into a 4-1 lead, we are heading out for a little bit of a break. We'll be back after the interval with the conclusion of our first semi-final in week number 5, the Champions Cup of Pool. Very warm welcome back to the IPA Champions Cup pool from Sheffield. These are the stats at the interval. It is Jordan Shepherd who leads the way, 4 frames to 1, the key stat there at the bottom. And total balls potted is a bit of an indicator of the dominance that Jordan Shepherd has had. It's only really been one real mistake, the missed pot, which cost him the frame that Jack won. But other than that, he's looked in pretty fine fettle.
Yeah, I think Jack, he's had a couple of positional shots that he'd like to have again. And, you know, if he'd have got those right, you know, we could have been looking at a slightly different score. But, you know, that's the situation. And, you know, but, you know, don't be surprised to see Jack come back. He's got talent. If that break has, you know, it may have done him some good. And probably had a pep talk from his dad there. And, you know, you never know. He might come out fighting and give Jordan a real run for his money.
Oh, we'd love to see it. Black's on the move, but it's not going to go anywhere near the pocket. And interesting line. Black's gone fairly safe, but he's at the table, Jack, which is what he'll be looking for.
Yeah, went to the cup break there. So he's changed his break up. So he's, you know, it's good to see that he's, you know, looking to change and adapt pretty quickly. And he's got the rewards. He's put a red, and you know, they look. Apart from the black, they look quite interesting. Oh, what's he done there? Oh, he's played an awful shot, but he's just about got away with it.
Yeah, a little hand went out to Jordan there in apology. He very nearly got that badly wrong.
Yeah, he was playing a plant, and you know, he's just completely mistimed it. He's got too much side on the white ball, and you know, not hit the red where he wanted. But anyway, he's still at the table. All the reds still go. So he's just got to forget that now and concentrate on working out how he's going to get onto that black from his last red.
Yeah, that could have been an awful lot worse for Jack Heckingbottom, that.
You can see when he's queuing, he's very solid on the shot. He's not shaking or anything. There's nothing visible. So he's, you know, he seems to have settled down, and
it should be helping him playing someone he knows quite well. He'll just be thinking in the back of his head, it's just another game down the club, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he knows he'll have beaten Jordan in the past. You know, when they're playing in the club, he knows he can. It's a match he can win. He's just got to really believe it and deliver. Easier said than done, of course.
Of course. He just opted to choose the extension there again. He has taken advantage of the extension on a few occasions as Jack. He was down to play the shot there, but as soon as the beeps started to kick in, he just rose back up, whether that's to avoid playing the shot with the distraction or another reason. It's not too clear, but he looks okay for position. The queuing's going to be hampered, though. You can just see that's the real difference between some of the top pros and some of the young amateurs, is just the cue ball control. That's the big difference, I think, you find.
Yeah, he just again, he didn't play the positional shot as he would have wished, and he's left himself in an awkward position whichever red he looks at. It's a tricky pot. He's got a clip in, but as we've seen, he likes a little clip. He's played that well.
Yeah, he's potted it really well, and that's actually something you do notice with even the young players. They've all got the pots in the locker.
Yeah.
It's just as to whether they can get that cue ball on a string.
Yeah, it's just the patterns, and you know, his last ball now to get on the black. He's not going to get ideal position on the black. Don't think he's able to do that. He's just going to have to accept that he's going to have the black at distance.
Well, he'll actually do well to be able to see it. That's all the yellows at the bottom of the table, blocking his route up to the top. Good shot required here.
He needs a nudge, and he's got a nudge.
Oh, he's well, a little ripple of applause and a tap of the knee from Jordan, and I think that's the luck that he's been looking for, really.
Yeah, he's got to take advantage, because this black is not easy, and he's missed it. Oh, he's gone in.
Oh, he got it just. It's been rare, isn't it, that when we're seeing the ball get right up, I think he knows he's got away with one there. When the ball hits the cushion so high up as it did here, look where it hits the cushion, that it's dragged along, slid along, and got in off the off the jaw. You're looking at the screen here in absolute disbelief, Kevin.
I think you're right. It must have slid in, but yeah, I don't know how that's gone in, to be honest. But it's gone in, and
I think Jordan's just asking him how it did.
I think there must be magnets in that black and that corner pocket. But anyway, it's a chalk on the board. He's back in the match. It's 4-2. It's what he needed after the break. 5-1 would have been virtually impossible to come back from. But 4-2, he's still in it.
Well, it's good to see Jack smiling and laughing with a few of his friends in the crowd. He seems to be enjoying it, and he's got another chance here because Jordan has gone in off second time in the match. And a good opportunity here, and this one a little bit less forgivable than the first, where he got a couple of horrible ricochets. That one potentially a little bit more human error. White came straight back up the table towards the pocket. Jack just surveying the table, not the easiest lie. What are your thoughts, Kev? What's he looking at here between red and yellows?
Well, there's no yellow, so he's got to go for. No, he's got white in hand. Sorry, yeah, John's gonna. Yeah, he's going to look to. I think just develop those 3 yellows. I think where we saw him lining his cue up, he's just going to play the plant, and he's got the choice really. Once he's developed these, you know, he can just see how the land lies and possibly go for both or either.
Well, the yellow's dropped in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Jack has to choose them. It's a free ball. He had to nominate on this shot.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to go for reds now.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly safe bet. 2 at the top of the table. They're probably really his problem balls, and they can be sorted out straight away. One at the bottom cushion is not necessarily an easy one, but it's a pretty easy positional shot to get on. Just needs to get this one right. This is a tough shot, but if he can get this, then he could be set up for the frame. It's an awkward shot, this.
Yeah, I'm not sure he'll take it on, to be honest. I think he may look to change his patterns. He could take the one into the middle, the top one, as we look now. Look to take these ones at the bottom end of the table and then come back up for that one at the end.
Just another little glimpse into the issues, a little bit harsh, but the issues that Jack's facing with controlling the white. It's not as precise as Jordan, and he was looking to get rid of his ball on the cushion there. Just overrun, and whilst he's always got the options to try and pot his way out of trouble, even if he just sneak them in off the jaws as he's done again there. Don't know what his secret is. I think you're going to go out and ask him, aren't you, after this?
You just need to check those pockets. But, yeah, I mean, it's the pace as well, and the cushions are a little bit slidey, so they are going to take certain shots a bit easier than others. So as we said earlier, he's taken the balls at the bottom end of the table, so it's all about the position on this red into the middle. It's in the middle of the table, so he'll want to pop that, run the white through, and for his last red along the rail into the top left.
But he'll need to leave himself an angle on the final red to get back at the table for the black as well. It's not guaranteed for Jack. It requires a couple of really nice shots.
That looks good.
Oh, and he's missed the red.
Yeah, it was a bit of a nothing shot, to be honest. He wasn't anywhere on the position. but it's not finished in too bad a position, to be honest. It's making things very awkward for Jordan.
We say that. Don't be surprised to see him clear up here, but he has got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he can plot this one into the bottom corner, then screw between the gap and the middle of those 3 yellows, and just knock that red in, or certainly move it from the pocket. Not sure if that shot's on.
He's playing through a lot of screws, you can see. Oh, he's
Is
missed
he
the
off
shot.
the red? Oh, it's not even touched the red.
Well, it's Jordan's turn to put his hand up, because he's missed a really simple yellow into the corner. And he's fluked it into the middle.
Again, hitting the ball too thick, as we saw in the 3rd frame when he missed that one into the middle bag. Hitting that near knuckle. He's sort of lucky and he's unlucky, to be honest. He's obviously lucky that the whites just fired, that the yellows gone into the middle bag, but he's actually unlucky that it's not gone off the red to clear the way for those two yellows. So
I think that would have been the clear sign that it's written in the stars for Jordan tonight if the red had come out as well. But I think you're right, he's got a bit of an issue here. He needs to knock one of these out, or he's going to leave himself potentially on one to the top of the table. That red is still an issue over the middle. I think he's going to look to play the one up to the top and leave the second yellow down to the bottom along the same cushion. He's going to try and move it.
Special.
Well, I think he played it with a lot of pace. I just wonder if he was trying to move it with that shot.
It's going to be a safety shot. Not one of his best. So it's going to be easy to hit for Jack. And I don't think there's much he can do apart from leave Jordan a really difficult shot down the rail. You can see there it's a total snooker. So he's just going to play the white off the left-hand rail, just land on the red, make it as difficult as he can for Jordan. I don't think he can stop him at least having a shot. Can't see him playing anything more adventurous than that.
Yeah, he's just moved the red over the pocket, so if Jordan either doesn't pot this or doesn't leave the white safe, he'd make check favourite for the frame.
He's just smashed in a double.
Well, it's never quite safe, is it, when you've got a player like Jordan Sheffield at the table? What a brilliant shot that is. What a brilliant shot that is.
Didn't even touch the sides, straight in. So much spin on the white ball, comes off the side rail to leave that easy black.
And before the end of the replay, he was already queuing up to roll black in as well. It was a brilliant bit of play, that.
That was worth the entry money itself, that shot.
Absolutely. Here we go with the draw then. 64 matches in total, the Champions Cup, and here we see the top half of the draw. Saw the first 2 matches there, Farnsworth Cunningham and Steve Thompson-Oliver. They were in week number 1 in Washington. Then Mickey Griffiths, Curtis Lee and James Hanney and Christian Phillips competed last week in Cardiff. Still plenty to come in the top half of the draw. Looking forward to seeing the Scots in particular. We've got to wait a while to get into action.
It'll be here before we know it. We're already into week 5. Quarter of the way through.
It's flown by, hasn't it? Yeah, 16 weeks of group stages here on Freesports every Monday night from 7 o'clock. And then we roll straight into the knockout stages after that. 21 weeks in total. And this is a good little break actually from Jack Heckingbottom. Obviously Jordan Shepherd now at match point, but whilst it sort of looks a little bit untidy because the balls are quite close together, it's it's actually not too bad, this at all.
Yeah, he's going to be attacking the yellows, and his first run into the bottom right-hand corner should pave the way. So again, as we've said before, a few times in the match, he just needs to work out his patterns, work out his route round the table. A few times we've seen him, maybe not quite get that element of his game spot on, and you end up paying the price. As you get fewer and fewer balls on the table, you end up paying the price. And I think, as you alluded to earlier, the difference, one of the main differences between the Mark Farnsworths, the Ronan McCarthys, and other very good players is the consistency of their pattern play.
We saw those two in the first couple of weeks of the Champions Cup up in Washington. Both of them looked in really, really good nick. And it's sort of the easiest way to spot a really good pool player is that they never have to play difficult shots.
Yeah, they make it look so easy, and believe me, it's not. But yeah, these top players are top players for a reason, and pleasure to watch them. Pleasure to watch them playing live in this great competition here on Freesports.
On the other side of the coin, it's always interesting to watch some of the youngsters come through as well, because when they don't quite have the cue ball control of someone like a Mark Farnsworth, not in any way a slight on them, it actually can be quite interesting to see how they figure it out and almost work with it. And Heckingbottom is getting there in this frame.
Yes, if that yellow near the black goes in the middle, that makes it a lot easier for him, so he's got a bigger area where he can put the white ball. If it doesn't, then I think that yellow only goes into the bottom right hand corner as we're looking now, so his positional play needs to be a bit more precise. I think the fact that he's not played the shot yet suggests that it maybe only goes in the corner pocket, so he needs to make sure he's spot on with his position. He's looking into the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, look at that! Perfect gap.
Yeah, made for it, wasn't it? And if he can knock this last yellow in, black position is pretty much guaranteed. Just taking his time a little bit on the pot. Knows this is an important one.
Yeah, he knows he's only one mistake from being knocked out of the competition.
Oh, it wiped its feet, didn't it? Oh, is he on the black? I think he is. Oh, it's tight. But he's on the cushion, and he should just be able to sneak this one through. He does. Well played. It's 5-3. It's not all over just yet. Jack Heckingbottom stays in it. Nice job for the young man. There's the wonderful trophy that they're playing for. As we take a look at the bottom half of the draw. Don't look too closely at the bottom of your screen there, Kev. Ronan McCarthy and Brian Halcrow played against Stuart Wright and Lee Ray. Ronan McCarthy was the qualifier through in Washington there. As we can see, Corey Rees beating Kev himself 6 frames to 0. Greg Batten losing to Craig Marsh. It was a tough game, to be fair, Kev. It wasn't a 6-0. It was harsh.
Well, to be fair, I did well to get 0. Yeah. It was pretty awful, but that's pool. That's pool. You take the rough with the smooth sometimes. Corey played well though, so no complaints. He was played really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Corey hadn't had a good day, you'd have been.
Well, I got 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been non-stop action here on Freesports on Monday nights. It's been great to watch. Got a good game coming up in our second semi-final. Jason Rimington taking on Michael Rhodes to face the winner of this one, which looks like it's going to be Jordan Shepard, but he's got this frame to navigate first. He's at the table. A good position. He's just freed up the black there with a really nice shot, and if he can maybe knock that yellow up to the top of the table, he should be in a pretty good position.
Yeah, Jordan's going to be looking to finish this match off in this visit. A couple of nice little nudges there just to develop his balls. But we have seen the odd careless mistake from him in this match, so by no means a gimme at the moment. And that's almost another one. Fraction more to the right hand side, and the white would have been making its way down the chute under the table.
Dispatched pretty safely though, and looks like here Jordan Shepard shouldn't have too many ball problems playing with his ability.
He's just got to make sure he bounces this white off the rail. Oh, he needed a bit more there. So he's going to have to screw this white ball. You can see where his cue is. If he'd have had a bit more angle off the cushion, he could have played a far easier positional shot. This looks pretty good though.
Yeah, it had to be precise because he's got to get it in between the two reds.
I think he's on it. Ooh.
It's close, isn't it? It really is close. He might have to put a... I think he should just be okay. He might play with a little bit of swerve just to make sure he is.
I've got his cueing on that white ball. That looks close. What a great shot that is.
Yeah, beautifully played.
Does that black sneak in the middle?
And he's playing it pretty quickly, which suggests that it does. Just peeks past. What a lovely shot that is. We mentioned half pocket quite a bit, but I think Jordan Shepard could see about a third of that pocket there, and he's just dropped it in dead weight. Lovely shot, and that is the win in our first semi-final. Jordan Shepard beats Jack Heckingbottom, who put himself in a good position in quite a few of those frames. Absolutely no disgrace to be beaten 6-3 in our first semi-final there.
No, it was a good performance from Jack. You know, a couple of little mistakes here and there. That was really only the difference. He had a few missed pots, but you know, that's always going to happen. But you know, he'll probably look back on the match and think, you know, if I'd have just done a little bit here and a little bit there, maybe you know, it could have been a closer affair. But no, great performance from Jack, young kid. We're going to see a lot more of him over the next few years.
Yeah, looking forward to that. But Jordan Shepard is your winner of the first semi-final. We'll be hearing from him after the break. Yeah, welcome back to Sheffield with the winner of our first semi-final, Jordan Shepard. Congratulations on the win. How did that one feel?
Yeah, it's a bit awkward playing Jack, because obviously we're big friends and we live together and everything. So it was kind of like, I'm not really sure, but it was awkward in any.
And were you sort of proud in a way of the way he performed? Because he put in a very good display for someone so young.
Honestly, he's going to be a really, really good. He'll be a top player in years to come. He's improved so much. Like he'll be a great player when he gets there.
And in terms of your performance, a pretty good performance from yourself as well. Did you feel like you're at home on the table tonight? The shot clock isn't going to restrict you in any way?
No, I felt pretty sharp. Felt pretty good for a change. Been struggling a bit lately, but it felt good then, yeah.
And in terms of this competition, obviously it's a competition that everyone's wanting to win. Is it? I know it's a competition that you feel suits your style. Is it something you're really keeping an eye on?
Yeah, it is. I like the format as well, because it's not all like, you don't depend on one day's form. Obviously you have to get through tonight, but it doesn't. You could play play one bad match and then that's it, kind of it. Like, but yeah, I like the format, like everything about it. It's good.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you in the final. What do you make of the second semi with the two players we've got coming up?
Yeah, be a good standard, be a good game to watch actually.
Well, we can't wait. We can't wait to watch it, and we can't wait to watch you in the final. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
And let's take a look at how Jordan got there. Top performance then from Jordan Shepherd. We will be seeing him in our final tonight, but who will he be taking on? We're about to find out. Jason Remington is taking on Michael Rhodes in our second semi-final. It's a race to 6 once again, and the winner will be meeting Jordan Shepherd in our final. Those are the two gentlemen, Jason and Michael. Michael on the right, Jason on the left. And what are we expecting from this one, Kev? I think the general consensus, speaking to people around the venue tonight, is this one's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, these are two very, very, very talented players. Jason Remington is is a sort of more established name, arguably, and well, you wouldn't have thought so by that lag, but
because that's maybe one of the worst lags that we've seen on Freesports, yeah, but he won't be too concerned about that.
No, I think even I got further than that one. But Michael Rhodes, arguably the leading amateur in the country, last year won the last 2 amateur UK, IPA tour events. So you know, very, very talented player, ex-snooker player, great cueist, as is Jason. So I think we're in for some real quality black ball pull over the next 45 minutes.
Well, we're certainly hoping so. It's Michael in the first break then. And he's going to come up dry, I think. He is, yeah. Quick head count of all the balls. Yeah, he's definitely come up dry. Just made sure I didn't miss one at the start there. But yeah, it's a disappointing start from Michael. He's got a good spread of them, but not one down any of the bags. And that's it. That'll be a disappointment for him, chasing at the table with a very open-looking table.
Yeah, he's going to be loving having a go at these reds early on. Get his hand on the table, try and get a few pots, get settled into the conditions. But commentator's curse there. He played a terrible shot.
Yeah, he's knocked one of his own reds safe, which is, well, the last thing he wanted to do. Those reds looks mightily inviting.
Yeah, he's still got opportunities though. The red that's sort of in the middle of the table, he can just fire that into the top left corner as we're looking now. You know, the red that's on the cushion, it does double, and we know that you know, these guys are not afraid to play a double.
Wow, it's a bad miss from Jason there. Unexpected. It didn't appear to be a too difficult a shot. He was just trying to hold the white ball a little bit, but wasn't expecting him to miss that.
No, I think that's a nervy start there from Jason. Obvious signs of you know, nerves to miss the pot by so much.
Yeah, he knew it straight away, didn't he? So it's rare that we're seeing a miss like that so early on. Now, has Michael got enough on that? He hasn't. Has left a reasonably safe white ball, but I think Jason's got a chance to get back in here. Bit of an edgy start from these two.
It is, yeah. He's tried to take the aggressive option, which is what you'd expect from Michael. Very attacking player. But wasn't very close with the double, but not the kind of shot you want first up on television. But yeah, he's let Jason back in. But another of those little tricky shots into the middle bag. I can't emphasise enough how different it is playing in front of the cameras live. I don't know what it is, but it's a different animal.
Well, he slotted that one away nicely, and he'll be pleased about that because it's a far more difficult shot than the one he missed. So he's pleased to get his hand on the table, get a pot away, and he almost back into his rhythm. Jason Remington. And once again, those reds start to look a little bit more inviting. The one that he put on the cushion off his first shot actually looks a little bit nicer because Michael has moved that yellow that was next to it away, and that's what he's going to take on now.
Yeah, that's the nature of the game these days. You know, you've got to be prepared to take the double on. It's almost become a routine shot now in clearances when these guys are at the table. not afraid to play them anymore. But different kettle of fish maybe a few years ago, but now it's part of their armoury.
Now, I just wonder if he's come a little bit shorter than he wanted there. Just take a look at that red, and I think he wanted to leave it initially. He has got a backup. And did that look a little undercooked to you, Kev?
That's very tight.
Just about see it, I think. Squeeze it past the yellow. And there he can.
Yeah, played it well in the end.
Jason then here. He's in a pretty good position. So who've got these final two reds? This one is about as easy as you could possibly have it. And the black ball will go quite nicely into the left middle pocket. It's an open table, doesn't have to worry too much about the cushion.
Yep.
And it's there for Jason Remington, who takes the first frame. That's a nerve settler for Jason. I'll be pleased about that. Did open up a couple of opportunities, but in the end, it did go his way. This is his most recent tournament history. Actually lost to Jordan Sheffield in the Welsh Professional. He got to the last 16 of that one. And his best performance of late really was the British Professional in October. Got all the way to the final before beaten by Clint Jensen. He's actually had a very good recent history, Jason Remington.
Yeah, he showed signs there of the form that took him to his first IPA title, which was the European Championships, I think back in 2014, 13 or 14. That was his sort of breakthrough victory, and not really, to be fair, capitalised on that. But yeah, he played really well to get to the final there, and it was only an informed Clint Jensen who stopped him taking the title.
And it'll be interesting if he bumps into his old pal Jordan Shepard in the second, in the final, tonight, having been knocked out by him in the Welsh Professional recently in Cardiff. First break then for Jason. Yellow goes down, and so does a red. It's a pretty good break. Got a bit of leeway here, a few options. Both going into the bottom middle as we look at that.
Yeah, and he's going to be spoilt for choice as well. I think at first glimpse, yellows look very tasty. Yeah, they look delightful.
And the first one does go through those two yellows as well. Two reds, I should say. But I think you're right, Kev, that 5 yellows that remain look pretty open. It's almost a 50-50 split at the halfway point in the table, really. Doesn't have to worry about the 4 reds blocking any paths or angles.
No, he's just going to put this into the middle, or the top as we're looking now. He'll take these 2 at the bottom end of the table. And then he'll, the one nearest to black, he'll just drop that in the middle, and then the yellow on the left-hand side, he'll drop that in the left middle, and then black in the right middle. This is pretty much dot to dot for these guys. He's just got to, stay in the moment and not get ahead of himself and do anything silly. But you sort of dream of these finishes. This is what you want.
be too much more straightforward.
Just need to play this with a bit of drag, just to slow the pace of the white ball. Maybe a little bit of side.
That's exactly what he has done. Jason Williamson just take his time around the table. I think that's what we saw earlier. A few nerves is completely understandable. I think the way we saw Jordan Shepard, oh, I tell you what.
Wow.
And he's just dragged the white ball there to stick on the yellow to the middle. And he's missed the pot. And looking at that, it did look a little bit like a miscue.
I think he's just missed it. I mean, it's just I really can't explain that shot. It just looked pretty routine. The shot before, he probably held it too well, to be honest, and you know, he could have. Could have been a bit closer, but.
Well, the pace he played it, he could have gone away with nicking it off a jaw, I think, even in the middle pocket. Didn't play particularly quickly. But a couple of those edgy moments early on between these two. And Jason, despite being a frame up, he should now be 2 frames up, of course. Where those yellows and the black were set for him looked about as nice as you could possibly want them. But even Michael's at it now.
That's a bad miss.
He can't believe it, can he?
Yeah, I mean, again, he's just missed the pot. Just missed the pot.
There's nothing we can really overanalyze there. There's no sort of rhyme or reason for it. Michael Rhodes is a wonderful player. He would absolutely not have been expecting to miss that.
So if he's taking this into the middle, which I think he is, then the white is going to kiss into that red, so he will need a little bit of luck to make sure that he's on the yellow. Just got there.
Played that really nicely. If you think back to his last shot, quite incredible. Just watch the same player. It's a brilliant shot. Played that about as perfect as he could have wanted.
It's the beauty of this game. It's so unpredictable.
And he's played that one perfectly as well. So Jason Rimington will move into a 2-0 lead. No danger about that black ball there. He made a little bit harder work of it than he would have liked.
Yeah, I mean, Jason has looked really solid, you know, on the shot, and but just you know, made some inexplicable misses, and yeah, it's live pull for you.
Well, here we take a look at Michael Rhodes' recent tournament history. As you mentioned earlier, Kev, some terrific wins last year on the amateur circuit, winning the European and the British Amateur Championships. He's a really top player. And just take a look there as well, right at the bottom. Jordan Shepard has a win over him as well in the UK Open last year.
Yeah, I mean, to win one of the amateur events on the IPA tour is some achievement, such as the standard of the field. But to win 2 back-to-back is almost unheard of. He's in very good company for the few people that have achieved such a feat. But you know, that was October.
Well, Michael's gone straight in off the break, and the frustration is etched all over his face, and there's no excuse for that either. He had a great break, got the balls nice and split, a few down, but he's actually just gone straight into the middle pocket off the pack, that's the one cardinal sin really of the break, isn't it?
It's a nightmare. He changed the break. He did the cut break in the first frame and came up dry, so he's gone back to the front, you know, straight on, smash them as hard as you can type of break, and just lost the white into the middle. So yeah, he's a little bit all at sea on the break at the moment.
It's not the greatest shot either from Jason, unless he's planning on taking yellows.
No, that was a bit of a careless one there. He didn't want to. He definitely wanted to take reds.
Yeah, I think so.
I think if that yellow does squeeze past those 2 reds that are together, then yellows, he's got no choice, he'll have to go for them. But he certainly was looking at, wow, what a great shot that is.
Yeah,
What
it's amazing, isn't it? This has been the story of Jason Remington's match so far. He's followed up one really pretty awful shot with one absolutely brilliant one. The knocking of the red safe off his free ball to develop whatever he liked was borderline criminal at this stage of the game, but then he's made up for it with one heck of a positional shot.
Obviously answered my question about whether that yellow went past those two reds. Obviously it didn't, and you know, the first opportunity that he had to develop it, he took and played it absolutely superbly off two cushions, because they are really hard shots to judge, particularly when the cushions are you know, a little slidey.
And he's in a good position. Here's Jason here. A 3-0 lead would be, well, would look pretty harsh on Michael Rhodes, but he's, in a way, he's only got himself to blame.
I think he's just going to run this white through a touch. Yeah. And then he's got the top yellow into the top left-hand corner, and it just depends how he wants to play his position. He could bring it round off two cushions, so that there, like that.
He's played that fairly nicely. Not an easy yellow, especially if it doesn't pass the reds into the bottom. Yeah, you can see there it doesn't, so you're going to have to cut this into the middle pocket. Has to get it right. Didn't quite cut it enough. You can see there, just missed it there. And Michael's not even got the safety right, I don't think. He's made a bit of a mess of that, Michael, but well, I don't think there's a way Jason can pot it particularly easily.
No, but he's got some sort of fluke, educated shot that he's going to be looking at. He's certainly not going to be short of pace on it. It was a careless safety shot from Michael there, but you sort of feel this is a huge frame in the context of the match.
Yeah, 3-0 versus 2-1 is an entirely different game altogether, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know, he could just, you know, settle Michael down. He's obviously, you know, he's just not quite in this match just yet. Some careless errors, not quite settled down. So, you know, if he can get that frame on the board that we keep talking about, you know, the match can soon turn around, and you know, can start to feed off, you know, the positivity of winning a frame.
Looks like he's trying to hit this on the thin side. Oh, he nearly fluked it. He nearly fluked it.
And that's the thing, you just, whilst your opponent's got a shot, anything can happen. And it almost did then. If that had gone in there, Michael Rhodes would have been probably wanting to get in his car and
I was going to say, might have been off out the exit tour, I think. I think that'd have been a sign. It's just not his night. But as it is, he's in with a shout here. The yellow has gone safe. And I just wonder if those two reds, having moved a little bit now, I think they now plant. So a chance here for Michael. Just going to play it safe, just to, I think, make sure. He'll put a snooker on Jason here. And that does look like a snooker to me. If he can force a shot and a visit, that'll give him just that little bit of extra cushion to to develop them exactly how he wants.
Yeah, and his options here are very, very limited, shall we say. As we saw him lining up, he's going to bring the white off the bottom rail. He's only got a bit of yellow to aim at, so he's going to probably try and send the yellow maybe twice across and put it in. Oh, it's a great attempt.
It wasn't a bad effort at all, was it?
I mean, to hit the yellow was a great shot because he only had, you know, half of that yellow to hit.
I think if he'd doubled it, it would have been in for a shot of the tournament contender.
So finally, Michael gets the chance that he's been waiting for.
And he'll be so pleased to get this sort of chance as well. This is what you want to start yourself, to get yourself going in a game, especially when you've been struggling. This is the sort of setup that Michael finishes off every single day and makes no trouble of whatsoever. And as you can see, as Kev alluded to earlier, he's got a lovely flow and style about his play. Michael Rhodes doesn't hang about. And there we go, he's on the board, and that's a really crucial win.
Yeah, we've just got a glimpse there of Michael Rhodes in full flow. Like you say, he's a very nice cueist, and you know, he didn't win those two amateur events by chance. You know, he is a very, very good player. Very good player. Nice to watch.
And here's a reminder of how the last 32 has gone so far in the Champions Cup. These are our finals from each of the 4 weeks. Mark Farnsworth topping Michael Oliver by 6 frames to nothing. Christian Phillips beating Curtis Lee was the one we saw last week in Cardiff. That was a much closer game than 6-3. I can tell you, Ronan McCarthy was unstoppable against Lee Ray. That unfortunately was a 6-0, and yeah, Lee Ray didn't get much of a look in there. And the other one there, Craig Marsh, having a good victory over Corey Rees in Cardiff a couple of weeks ago. Seen some really good finals so far in the Champions Cup. As Jason Remington breaks and gets through that one really nicely. Black's not moved at all, but you can see there how many balls are rocketing around. Good break that.
Yeah, got a lot of energy there onto those balls. So they were, as you say, flying around the table. But remarkably, the black moved about 5 millimeters. And well, I mean, he can attack either colour, to be honest. There's for reds, it's his first pot, and for yellows, it's the yellow at the top of the table. But if he pots this you know, difficult red in the bottom, then he's going to have a great opportunity on reds to go 3-1 ahead.
And indeed he does. So Jason Remington here with a good opportunity. Do get this sense for Michael Rhodes that because of the errors that littered the first couple of frames, he might just have to play catch-up in this match for a little while at least.
I know Jason, he's got a table at home, and I know he's been putting a few hours in for this competition. But Michael was he was playing some. He was in action over the weekend as well, playing in some money games, I think. So both players should be in good stroke, as they say. Just Jason getting the better of the opportunities at the moment. I think the important thing for Michael is that he stays focused and doesn't get you know, too despondent. His break is causing him a bit of trouble at the moment. He doesn't know whether to cut break, whether to smash them from the front. It'll be interesting to see what he does on his next break. But you know, he's still only 2-1 down. And even if Jason clears these, 3-1 is by no means an insurmountable deficit to come back from the way these guys play.
issue Jason Remington has is this little patch of play here. This red isn't easy. There you see, it does go, but it's precise.
Just going to leave the white, pretty much stun the white ball.
Played it nicely, didn't he?
Clean as a whistle.
Just get the sense that Jason Remington is growing into this game. And playing now with a little bit more confidence than perhaps he was before. This is routine, and that's 3-1.
Yeah, and it's almost a story of the break. And you know, Michael 2 breaks, 1 foul, 1 dry. Jason 2 breaks, and you know, he's potted 3 balls from the break. So you know, Michael needs to address that part of his game.
Well, we always say, don't we, how important the break is in any match. It's the most important shot in pool, and the frustration for Michael Rhodes in this instance is that one's come up dry, one's gone in off. It showcases how important it is. He's 2 frames behind for that reason. Needs this break to go well for him. He'll take whatever he can get as long as he's at the table for the next shot.
You can see it's going through his mind. What's he going to do?
3 frames to 1, time running.
He's going for straight down the middle and to smash them as hard as he can. And again, he's potted one, but he didn't quite get hold of them.
He's potted a couple actually, but it sort of goes back to what I was saying. Just the way it's going for him so far this evening, he'll take that just to be at the table.
Yep.
It's not the easiest setup here, and he's got to do some thinking. You can see the cogs turning in his brain as he plots this one out. Yellow's look inviting with the way the 3 are gathered, in particular at the top of the table, but the one next to black is a problem for him.
Well, he can attack it straight away if he's going reds. So what he's going to be thinking about now is, wow, he's missed the pot.
Just had to be precise there, didn't he? It did go, but it only probably went half pocket, and
I think that was brought about by the shot clock and the time pressure. I don't think he was 100% certain what his best option was there, and I think he was caught in between both options, to be honest, and ended up getting neither. So
especially on the shot he took on, he couldn't afford to not be 100% committed because it was so tight.
Yeah, and he's playing with a lot of right hand side as well, which makes the pot a lot harder.
Well, reds is the choice for Jason Remington, and you can see why now that the table has opened up a little bit because of the miss from Michael Rhodes. Reds are the option here, the clear option. Just surveying the table using all of his shot clock.
Drilled that in nicely into the corner, brought the white off the cushion. So I'll be taking this one into the bottom right hand corner as we look now. One into the top middle as we look. And then he'll be using the one near the middle bag where the white is now to get position on the red just below the black.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a harder shot than it looked as well. I think it's one that maybe in the first couple of frames he might have missed, but his confidence has grown as the game's gone on, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's going to have to, I don't think he can just roll this, he's going to have to stun it. No, he's rolling it. It's just not quite. He's gone too far. That's why I thought he may have had to play something a little bit more attacking. I thought he may have had to stun that or even screw it back. So he's not got a great angle on this.
Yeah, he wanted to be above the red, so the natural angle took him down the table. Well, as you can see there, pretty clearly he's not below it, but he's certainly not above it.
So he's going to screw onto the top cushion with a bit of left-hand side, just like that. Just needed to give it a little bit more.
Tough shot this now.
Yeah, but he can just play it plain ball, just concentrate on the pot, and the yellow will act as a stopper. The yellow on the top cushion, as we look there, will act as a stopper for the white ball. So you just concentrate on the potting angle. I think that white will just hit that, come off the bottom cushion and hit that yellow full in the face and hold for the black into the middle. I don't know if you play it like that, but
it's a nice shot in the end. It's worked out pretty nicely for Jason Remington. Pot was good, and yes, a little bit of luck with the white, but he won't mind that too much. Black pot isn't easy, it's missable.
looks good.
It's there. Lovely shot from Jason Remington, and that could be a deciding or decisive frame to win. He now leads by 4 frames to 1, 3-frame lead, and it's looking pretty good here for Jason Remington. There's the stats, and telling stats there as well for Michael Rhodes. The foul from the break, the dry break, the missed pots. He's not having it all his own way. He's got to fight back to bring himself back into this match and into the Champions Cup. Let's find out if he can do it after the break. Welcome back to Sheffield, week number 5 of the IPA Freesports Champions Cup. It's game 2 of week 5. We've got Jason Remington taking on Michael Rhodes. As you see from the scoreboard, it is 4-1, the advantage to Jason Remington, and he's got the break against the very talented amateur Michael Rhodes. It's not quite happened for Michael so far in this match, but he's got an opportunity here because Jason's come up dry from the break, and if he is going to get back into it, Kev, you just feel like it's going to have to be, well, if not now, soon.
Yes, he can't leave it much longer. 4-1. If it goes 5-1, I think the writing's on the wall. But 4-2, it's still up for grabs. So next few minutes in this match could be vital for Michael Rhodes.
Yellows look pretty nicely set for him there.
Yeah, but he's got to develop this one on the right-hand side, which he's going to try and do off this shot into the middle, just bring the white off the cushion, and he's played it with too much side. If you just watch this replay, he's just played it there just to nudge the white off, and he's just got a little bit too much side into the white ball, and it's missed the yellow. So now he's got problems. I mean, I think he's going to try and play a double.
Yeah, I think he did. Didn't quite get it right, and all of a sudden, Jason Remington back at the table with a good chance here. On 5-1, as you say, Kev. Michael Rhodes knows it's going to be a very, very long way back from that.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity there, and he's only managed to pot two balls, so yeah, it's just not happening for him, and it's difficult, you know. There's no easy solution. He just needs something to happen to turn it around from him, whether it's a mistake from Jason or, you know, an amazing pot from himself. He needs to start to feel part of this match, and the match is just passing him by, really.
And the thing is with the short format. If you don't get into a match very quickly, it has the danger of doing that to you, because before you know it, it's all over.
Yeah, the only good news for him there is that Jason's played not a great positional shot and has got no obvious pot on here, so he's going to have to play safety. So at least the miss isn't it's not going to cost him the frame. He's still got a role to play in this frame. He's somehow just got to just find a way to win the frame. It doesn't have to be pretty. He's just got to try and make something happen.
And no easy shots. I think he might be looking at a 3-ball plant here, which is, in terms of shots that you'd like to play to get yourself back into a frame, this has to be quite near the bottom of the list.
The thing is, if he gets it, he's probably certain to kill one of his yellows on the side rail like that. So it's a great shot, but he was always going to leave that yellow in a difficult position.
It is a glorious pot, 3-ball plant, beautifully executed, but as Kev rightly says, it's not too obvious as to where he goes from here, or towards the end of the frame at least. Still got a lot of work to do, and it starts with developing that ball off the cushion, because that flat out doesn't go anywhere.
I'm just wondering if he can pop that into there and bring the white down here. Well,
is that what he was trying to play, do you think?
I think it was. He's either got a massive kick, or he's just completely mishit it. I'd like to see the shot again where he hit the white ball.
He's in a little bit of trouble. The yellow will go into the left middle pocket. It's just how he moves that yellow. Let's play it very, very hard, and he's kissed it all the way down, and the white's gone in. It just is not happening for Michael Rhodes at all. Frustration for Michael. Pot was a nice one, but he just had to move past that red, and then the whitening off is just insult to injury at that point.
Yeah, and it was a shot before. It'd be interesting to if we can see later what happened with that shot, because the white went at such a strange angle. It's yeah, it was weird.
To make Jason a heavy favourite for the frame here. And as Kev alluded to, 5-1 is almost a decisive scoreline. It's a long, long way back for Michael there. Here's the shot again, Kev.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from that angle, but it didn't look to be any obvious kick there, so I can only think that he just mistimed it, got a little bit too much into the white ball.
And Jason's starting to play really, really nice shots here.
Yeah, would have liked to have had a little nudge on that one just to make his work easier, but you know, these guys, he's going to be quite confident to roll that red down that's on the left hand side as we look. Probably as his last ball to leave you know, that nice easy black into the middle.
good here for Jason. No, it's looking a little bleak for Michael in turn. That one goes, no trouble, and this is the shot. Well, you can see it's not an easy pot down the rail. Needs to get this right. If he pots it, it's 5-1. There it goes. Just wiped its feet a little bit, but played it with enough pace on it to just allow it to drop. The black goes in, and Jason Remington is one away. And Michael Rhodes is on the brink.
Yeah, Michael's going to be very frustrated, very disappointed. Just nothing's gone for him. He's not managed to get any flow, any momentum in the match. And when he's has got opportunities, you know, he's been a little bit cold, either a bad positional shot or, you know, a couple of missed pots. Just not settled into the match, really.
As you mentioned a little bit earlier, it's so easy for a match in this format just to fly by and pass you by, and that's almost what's happened really with Michael. There's no time to, once that initial chance to get into a frame passes, there's not a lot of wiggle room to allow yourself to get into a match.
He's gone back to the cut break on the opposite side of the table this time, and pots 3.
Nearly in as well. I think if the black had gone in, I think we mentioned earlier, there might have been a few instances where Michael turned on his heel and left the venue. I think if the black went in, after having a pretty good break there, that might have been it.
You know, the misses that he's made are so uncharacteristic. I mean, he's such a good potter, you know. Anyone who was watching him for the first time, you know, probably maybe don't have that impression, but I can assure you he's such a good potter, very clean potter. You know, it's the strong part of his game, and you know, he's just simply not performed at the moment. But you know, stranger things have happened at this game. The shackles might be off.
Yeah, I think that's one thing you could say. There's not too much pressure on this frame because he knows he's 5-1 down. He knows that he's very, very unlikely to win at this stage. Might just free him up just to start playing maybe his more natural game. He knows the black is pretty much a gimme, just has to be careful not to knock it in on any of his shots.
So it's going to be that yellow that's nearest the red. That is. So this one there, that's the one that he's got to try and develop. Just put this one into the middle, just stun on, soft stun onto that red. Exactly like that.
Yeah, lovely shot. And Michael Rhodes has made easy work of that. That's the Michael Rhodes we've been waiting to see since the first frame, really, isn't it?
A 10-ball clearance there. Not often we say that.
And looking ahead to next week's Champions Cup match, we've got the Group 6 in Solihull. And we're looking forward to Solihull indeed. We've got a few weeks actually in Solihull, Kev. And it's a good middle venue for plenty of players to come up, to come down, and looking forward to a little bit of a residency in Solihull there.
Yeah, and I think in one of the weeks we will see our new world champion, Ben Davis, I'm sure. No, he's at Twickenham, isn't he? He's at Twickenham. But yeah, there's going to be some more great players coming up over the next 11 weeks of qualifiers. Like I say, the next 3 at Solihull.
We've still got time to go to Chester, back to Cardiff, Twickenham, up to Scotland a couple of times as well. Yeah,
It's relentless.
the Champions Cup Roadshow rumbles on. And coming to a town near you. And of course, if you're in the vicinity of any of our venues, we'd love to see you Monday nights. But if you're not, don't worry, we'll be here live on Freesports every Monday from 7 p.m. And Jason at the table, and with a chance here to win the game.
Yes, and he'll be hoping that he can put this match to bed in this visit. He certainly looked the more solid of the two players, as Jason. You know, he's had more chances, arguably, but he has looked very solid. You know, he's missed a couple, but you know, I think we can forgive him that.
We had a very nervy start, didn't we, Jason? It took him at least 2 frames to get into this match, maybe even 3. And once he settled down, he's actually was seen the Jason Rimington that we all know is a very, very talented player. And if it is him who moves on into the final tonight, he's got the game to give Jordan Sheffield a really tough match.
Yeah, he'll certainly fancy the job. He's not afraid of these big players. Jordan looking to become the 5th seed on the spin to qualify for the latter stages. But he's got so Jason playing that with lots of reverse side there. What a great positional shot that was. So hit that with bottom left hand side so that when the white screw back, it spun down to the left hand side as we look on screen. Great positional shot, played with great control.
Those are the shots for a player in good form and playing with confidence.
Yeah, that wasn't one of his best. Just he would have liked that white well away from that cushion. If it had been, his next shot would have been easy. But the fact that it's on the cushion limits what he can play. So depending what sort of angle he's got here, oh, he's got a tiny bit of angle. He might just be okay.
Oh, well, that's the one place he didn't want to leave the white. He snookered. I just wonder if he got the angle to play the double. I think he... Oh, it's close. What's he thinking here, Kev?
Well, I think he's, as you said, I think he's going to try and come off the side cushion and try and bring the white along here, come up behind the yellow and send it into that bag. That's what he's going to be thinking.
Extension.
Now it's not as easy because he can't just play it with the sort of natural angle, because that'll take the yellow somewhere up towards the top of the table. He's got to play it off the cushion to then cut it. It's a difficult one to judge.
Yeah, it's certainly easy to draw the lines and it is to play the shot. So he's going to just try and bring it into there and hit that yellow and send it hopefully somewhere over there. It's all about getting the pace right so that the side kicks in.
Oh, he had gone the reverse. Well, we mentioned earlier in the first game, it's all about how different players see the game, and Jason Rimington opting to play it almost the other way, cut it exactly the opposite and go towards the top corner. Didn't come off though for Jason, and Michael has an opportunity here to nibble away and get back another frame. He's put Jason in a bit of trouble with this one.
Yeah, just played a containing safety there. he was lucky that that red didn't just come back and nudge that white out. His heart had been in his mouth for a few seconds then. But as we saw a couple of frames ago, you know, anything can happen. Jason almost came out with an amazing fluke. Can he come out and out of this snooker and pot it into the top left corner?
Well, knows your answer, but Michael here is in, well, he looks like he's in great shape here to get a couple of balls down.
I think Jason will just be happy that he's put the pressure on Michael. You know, one more mistake from Michael and he's you know, he's going to be starting the car. But you know, these are not gimmies. You know, there's 2 on the cushion. He's got an opening pot, which he's just got there.
Yeah, he needed that. Michael knows one more mistake and it's curtains for him.
You know, this next shot is not easy. He's going for the plant.
Didn't he make that look so simple? For a player who's not been at the races to anywhere near the level he can be at, Michael, in this evening's game, that was made to look all so easy.
Yeah, and that shot could just about keep him in the match.
Next one went in as well. And he'll be hoping here he's on the way, and you never know. 5-1 becomes 5-3.
Doesn't want to be straight on this one into the top corner. It's not ideal. I think he can either run it through or he can try and just pinch a bit of angle and bring the white off the cushion. He could play the double. So, but I think he'll take the one at the top as we look. But if he's going to play this with a lot of pace, he needs to cue it well.
Yeah, no room for error. As soon as you inject a little bit of pace into the shot, has to go in the heart of the pocket. These jaws have been unforgiving.
Yeah, and he's used his extension, so that shows that it's not as easy. Is he playing the double?
He is.
He's played a safety.
Wow.
I think he's left it. I think that clips.
I think you're right, Kev. I think you can definitely see the potting angle. This could be it, as Michael Rhodes plays his last shot in the competition. Conscious players playing ball. Jason Remington just overcut it. Where's the white ball going? Is it going to drop safe? Not really. And Michael Rhodes got away with one there.
Yes, I think Jason will be a little bit disappointed at that effort. Well, he's got the pot, but he's not left himself easy. Played that well.
And then a simple black. He actually made that look a lot easier, that couple of shots there, Michael, than it was. It's a little bit more like it. Another frame chipped away from Michael Rhodes. It's 5-3. He's back to within 2. Jason remains 1 away from the final. The nerves might just be starting to creep in here as Michael gets a bit closer. See there the stats. There's a fair few missed pots from the pair of them. A couple of dry breaks as well. Actually, from the stats there, it actually looks like a pretty even game, but of course stats don't tell absolutely everything, and we know Jason Remington has been the better player in this one, but Michael's just gradually creeping his way back in.
Somehow he's found a way to win that frame that we mentioned, you know, earlier. He's scrambled a frame. He's 5-3. He's still in the match.
It's his break, of course, as well, and as soon as it becomes 5-4, well.
And he's potted one from the break, but where's the black
gone in? It'll be a re-rack.
So he'll have to do it all over again.
It's not a foul, just in case you're wondering. It's just a simple case of a re-rack, so Michael will break again.
He'll probably be pleased about that because
it wasn't the nicest lie, was it?
So we might just think, maybe things are just turning my way.
You can almost see a little wry smile creeping in. Looks a bit happier now than he did a couple of frames ago, put it that way.
I mean, such is the nature of the game. He could break clear, Jason could dry break, Michael could clear, and then Michael could clear from his break. So potentially Jason's 5-3 up, may lose the match 6-5 and only get one more shot. So you've got to be on your toes every second with these rules.
Couple go in. How's the lie? Black stays pretty static from this break, and one thing you will say is the colours are all pretty much clustered together.
Yeah, but I think he's going to look to go for reds here. I think he can. He's got one red tied up, but he could attack that straight away. He may even go in the middle. He's just lined that up there. So hold on tight. It could be 5-4 in a minute.
And despite these looking pretty almost claustrophobic in the middle of the table, it's actually a little bit of an easier setup than it perhaps looked, because that red, he's played on it, goes into the bottom middle as we now look at it.
Yeah, he played a really nice positional shot there.
Good chance this for Michael Rhodes. You'd almost go as far to say at this stage of the frame it should be 5-4. Not too many areas you'd expect him to slip up here.
He's just got into that a little bit too much. If the black goes in this same pocket, then he's okay. If it doesn't, I think the way he's cueing it, it does. I think he'd have liked to have been right behind this. This looks very tight.
You can see just creeps in, needs it to be precise.
Is it? Oh, just the pace. Just the pace.
Well, it wiped its feet, and Michael Rhodes is back within one. He still might not get another shot, but he's done all he can in that frame. Really important frame for Michael Rhodes. Played that well as he could. And he's relying now on an error from Jason. But you can see the pot again there. It thought about staying out, didn't it?
Yeah, just the pace, and that was, showed some great character there. He has struggled in this match, but that was impressive after what he's been through in the match, to pull out that clearance when he most needed it. So that was, that was well played. Well played. There's a couple of really nice positional shots that he had to get, precise in there, and he played them well. So he's still in.
And you almost saw his snooker background come to the fore there as well, because the way the Reds were sort of laid out was how he didn't imagine, the snooker Reds would be laid out, quite close together, lots of small little positional shots. That's the game which he likes to play the most.
Yeah, big fast attacking, potting warfare. That's what that's the sort of matches Michael Rhodes likes. So the misses that he's made have been really uncharacteristic, and we're starting to see the real Michael Rhodes come to the party now. So this could be interesting, particularly if it's a dry break.
Yeah, Jason will be praying for one to go down from this. If it comes up dry, he might just start looking over his shoulder, a little bit more worried than he is now. He knew he'd have this break, just needs it to go well for him. And I tell you what, Kev,
I don't think Jason will thank me for calling it, but if Michael clears these, we're in for a final frame thriller.
Well, Jason can't believe it. He's played so well, particularly in the middle of this match. He was 5-1 up. And Michael Rhodes could be on for quite epic comeback. What's he looking at here?
Well, he's going to play the plant on yellows to get things in motion. And now it's just about you know, working the route out. The tricky one is possibly getting onto this one here. But you know, it is out in the open. It's just a matter of working it out with this one as well, what the right order is.
And as it stands, whilst he has got some good pots to play and some good white ball control to manage, the way that Michael Rhodes played his last frame, if he can transfer that form over into this one, you'd make him a slight favourite here.
If he has got a bit of angle, he'll be looking to put this one into there and just try and, you know, use this yellow as a guide to get the white down there. He'd be looking at something like that. It looks like he has got a little bit of angle, and then he just completely opens up the frame. So if he's straight, then it's not quite as straightforward. Yeah, it did just have enough. I think that's okay.
Yeah, so is the ball now at the top of the table into the top left.
Yep. And he's just going to stun the white off the side cushion and back out again, just like that. He's played that well.
Penny for the thoughts of Jason Remington sat there in his chair. He's played precious few shots in the last 20 minutes or so. Michael Rhodes has fought his way back into this match. Really had to scrap for it. And now he's got the chance to tie things up. Two more shots, and whilst the yellow over the bottom pocket is a gimme, he needs to be able to see it. Doesn't want to snooker himself. Plays it well. It should be straightforward from here.
It should be. All he's got to do is just bounce this white out 6 inch from the rail.
Well, can he see it? This is a big question. Can he see the potting angle? I think he's okay. He almost wasn't. Yeah, he's straight down to play it. And there it goes. Well, incredible. From the brink, Michael Rhodes has forced a decider.
And it's his break. And at the start of the match, his break was all over the place. He didn't know where to break from. He couldn't buy a ball. And he's turned it round. He's gone to the right-hand side of the table with the cut break, and he's found some success. So can he keep that success going in this last frame? But he certainly doesn't look like missing a pot now.
No, he doesn't. It's completely turned around. Shake of hands between the two players. It's a decider. Michael Rhodes was 5-1 down. And he's now got the chance to win it 6-5. Big break.
There's nothing in.
Oh, and of all the ones to come up dry, of all of the ones.
So the break is his undoing again. He certainly didn't put much pace into the break. He was relying on potting one. Took a lot of pace off of that one. But as you'd expect in a deciding frame, nothing straightforward. Could be a few twists and turns.
No, the way they're set at the minute, it will take a very, very good clearance from Jason Remington to reverse dish this. Might not have seen the last of Michael Rhodes just yet. What's he looking at here?
Well, he's almost forced into reds. He's probably just going to play the plant, and well, it's a difficult one to call. It depends how he sees it. I mean, he really would have liked yellows. On the face of it, they're the better option, but obviously this yellow up at the top or bottom right corner as we're looking is an issue. So I think he'll probably just be playing the plant on the reds.
Oh, well, that hasn't quite gone to plan. I think it's safe to say, because that red now looks pretty safe.
I think that ensures we're in for a little bit of safety. I don't think any players going to want to push the boat out too much in this deciding frame. With that cluster at the top right, so Jason will just be looking to try and take control.
Yeah, and in terms of a safety battle here, the one thing that you don't want to do actually is pot too many balls. You'd rather have as many on the table as possible. It gives you the advantage in a safety battle. Jason does pop that one. Nice little billiard shot, but I do wonder if he truly wanted to. It does look like he played it pretty cleanly.
Yeah, just play it with pace. I'm not convinced he meant to pop that.
Yeah, he might just have been meaning to draw it and leave it dangling over the pocket and just take control.
Yeah, I think he was thinking about where he was leaving the white ball. Where he left the white ball, it would have left Michael no real shot. So I think he just hit it a little bit too hard.
That's a good shot there to leave the white there. And of course, the cluster at the top, whilst yes, Jason knocked his red safe, and he would have been annoyed to have done that, the yellow is safe as well. It's anyone's, this final frame, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's going to be nip and tuck, and it's going to come down to, I think, whoever wants to maybe push the boat out a little bit, and and they'll be trying to now develop their balls to so they can pot one and get into that cluster.
Well, that's a really clever little shot, that, from Michael Rhodes. And just to remind those of you maybe not familiar with the 8-ball rules here, particularly pertinent to safety play, is that if you don't pot it, the ball has to hit the cushion, which is why that shot from Michael was so clever. I just want to explain what the referee's lining up here.
Yeah, so he's just seeing there if Jason can see an edge, however thin, of that red ball, and if it's a total snooker, he can't see it, then he doesn't have to hit a cushion after contact. But I think he can see an edge of that, so I don't know, the referee must have called total snooker. I didn't quite hear that. So if there was an edge showing, then he could have just rolled in behind that. But there was obviously no edge. So it was a total snooker.
Ball off the cushion as well from Michael. Just adds that extra dynamic. It means that we avoid really laborious frames where you can just roll up behind the ball and make things very, very difficult. Just makes players think that little bit more. Keeps them constantly thinking offensively.
Absolutely, and that's what the rules do. So both these players, even though there's that cluster, they're going to be thinking how they can develop their respective colour to take a grip of this match, and just like Jason has done there with a great shot.
That really is. And you can see there the way that's actually turned out. That red will pop into that pocket off the other red, and Jason now with a big advantage in the frame. It's a very good shot.
Yeah, so Michael has got to now fight fire with fire. He's got to be looking at what balls he can pot, that he can get into that cluster, pop reds and try and develop the black after potting one of his own yellows. That's the nature of the game. It gives you that opportunity to, even though you look behind in the frame, you can still attack.
Yeah, and that's the thing actually for Michael. Whilst Jason has knocked his yellow out. The issue that Michael, of course, now has is the black is safe. He can knock away all these yellows as much as he likes, but that black is not going anywhere at the moment. And the way that the black is near the red, he can really only play into it off a pot, and he can use a skill shot to allow himself to pop the red. Is there an angle that you can see he'll be thinking? Is he maybe thinking the screw here?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that goes in there and then he can screw back into there, but he's not looking at that. He's looking at a safety. Well, I think Jason's going to be having a look at these.
Now, surely he wanted to leave that white behind the yellow.
Yeah, he needed to get the white almost glued to the yellow.
So if the bottom red, as we look at it here, if that can cannon into the second red and into the pocket, it'll really open things up for Jason Remington. Will give him a huge advantage. Oh, and it sticks out. Wow.
But he's still in control. So Michael really has to he has to start to look to be ultra aggressive now. This could be his last visit.
Because those reds now go pretty comfortably. Oh, he didn't want to miss that pot.
The pressure there, the pressure of having to get the pot, knowing Jason was on a finish.
Wasn't an easy shot, especially given the pressure. Had to jack up a bit, but he'll be disappointed to miss it. It's a pot he'd have expected to make, especially the way he's been playing in the last 3 or 4 frames.
Yeah, it's a different psychology though when you're all of a sudden you've got a chance of winning the match from being 5-1 down. The pressure almost reverses.
Now, Jason hasn't left himself an easy shot here. I think he might even be looking at a plant here. That's what he's lining up.
It is. He's taking his extension.
You can see that's the angle he's looking for. Well, if this comes off, the match might well be his. And it does. He's played it really, really well. The issue he's got is I'm not sure he can see the reds over the pocket here, and he's got a really awkward angle to get in a position where he can see them off this with this third to last red.
Yeah, I think he's going to be looking to play this one into the top left with bundles of right-hand side to try and fizz that white towards those 2 reds, just like that. And if he's straight in on that, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, you can see that pretty comfortable. It's a good shot. Just taking a second look at the way the reds are lined up. Doesn't want to take any chances here. Looks pretty straightforward though. Now, has he got enough room to get his white out of there?
Wow.
Looks pretty touching ball to me.
Is there a twist?
Well, Michael Rhodes might not just be out of this yet. This is an incredibly difficult position to be in here. Very precarious. But obviously it's been, looks pretty much touching ball. To force the angle for the pot, he's going to have to send the black all the way around the table at a huge amount of pace.
And he's running out of time.
That's what he's done.
The black's going safe, is it?
Oh, well. Now the black might pass into the bottom right-hand corner, past that yellow. If it does, he's got a shot. Yeah, you can see it does. But this is, I mean, to win a match, this is a tough, tough shot.
This is wafer thin. This is wafer thin, and he's only got 16, 15 seconds. He's clipped it in. Where's the white going?
Where's the white? It's safe. It's the win for Jason Remington. What a way to do it. Drama at the end. What an epic. It's rare we see a first to 6 frames go that tight. And what a match, Kev.
Yeah, it was a game of almost 2 halves. You know, 5-1 up to Jason, up to be coasting. Michael was a bit all at sea. Somehow found a way to win a few scrappy frames. Then we saw some free-flowing stuff to get to 5-all. And then the last frame, you know, Michael had the break, and he was dry from the break, and you know, Jason had the advantage from the start and just about made that advantage stick with a narrow 6-5 victory. Great match.
Absolutely brilliant stuff once again from the Champions Cup. We'll be hearing from Jason and be previewing our final after the break.
You know, Michael let me back in a couple of times, and you know, I think a bit of a nervous start from both of us, but you know, I felt after a couple of frames I felt really comfortable and fancied job. So you know, from 5-1 I felt really good, and then it just started to turn, and then you know how this game can go, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, don't get to 5-all, because I know he's got the you know, the siding break, and Wade been breaking, he was breaking and clearing. I'm thinking, I'm not going to get a shot. That's probably me done, but then luckily he dry broke it last, and I got a bit of a crack at him. So yeah, happy to get over the line in the end.
Could you feel the momentum changing as it changed from 5-1 to 5-3? Could you feel a sort of shift?
Yeah and no. I mean, sometimes you do, but I didn't really. I still felt good. I still felt if I got my chances, I'd be all right. But then my break dried up a little bit, and then all of a sudden he was finding balls from break, and it just turned on its head. And so I was just anxious really to get another chance, because I felt good. I felt good in the balls, but the table's playing really slippy. You know, it needs a few more frames on till it beds in. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to handle off cushions and stuff. It's slippy, so it catches you out.
And in terms of the final couple of shots you had to play to win the match, a couple of really difficult ones. It was never going to be easy in a match like that. What were your emotions heading into that final black?
Well, when I had the 2 balls, they always a tricky when you got 2 balls touching, especially with the black being so close. I thought if I don't play this right, I could end up with the red being behind the black. So I've chose the option of sort of clipping off the red, playing into the black to leave myself on the red, but I've left myself really close and really on the red. And I could have sort of played a safe shot, but I was just my back were against the wall, so I had to get cue up in air and just. I was always going to get the red, I think. I just didn't know where the black was going to go, but when I saw the black, I thought, right, I can hit it. I'm cueing it right, I might get it. So I just get everything I've got, and luckily it went in.
And in terms of the final that you've got coming up against Jordan, a player you played pretty recently, and a player you gave a really good game to recently as well, should be a cracking final.
Yeah, we've had some battles over the years. Me and Jordan, just recently beat me 8-6 in the Cardiff Pro event last 16. Unfortunately, we went for tit for tat all the way to 6-all, and then I dry broke, he cleared, then he broke and cleared, and that was that. So, but yeah, we've had a few good battles, and I'm not sure the head-to-head, but you know, I've took him out a few times, so hopefully one more tonight.
We wish you all the very best of luck.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
No problem. And let's take a look at how Jason got to that final. Well, what a match we saw in that second semi-final. An epic in the Champions Cup. And we are hoping for more of the same here in our final. Jordan Shepard taking on Jason Rimington. If it's anything like our second semi, we could be in for the long haul here on Freesports. Really, really good game. And these two have met recently, as Jason was saying in his post-match interview, in the Welsh Professional Open in Cardiff a couple of weeks ago. Met in the quarter-final, 6-all, and a dry break was all that happened. But Jason let Jordan in, and 8-6 was the final result. Sometimes all it takes is a dry break, and Jason knows that all too well, as that's almost what let in Michael Rhodes in the semi-final. And there they go, ahead of the final. Two players who know each other really well, played each other plenty of times over the years. And Jason in particular will be hoping for a better lag than he managed at the start of his semi-final. And there we go, the break could be crucial. And again, Jason's dropped it well short. And it looks like that's going to be Jordan's break. And we're almost ready to go. And Kev, I know you're really, really excited for this one, because two players who, from both their semi-finals, are banging form, and we know that Jason Rimington has the ability to beat Jordan Shepard, and he's playing well. Jordan played particularly well against Jack as well. It should be a great final, this.
I think we're in for a treat. Yep. Both players playing well, and they've both missed a few, and I think they'll both be looking to improve on their semi-final victories. They know each other's games really well, and I think whoever makes the least mistakes, and will be through to the last 16. So I think I make Jordan slight favourite, but it's a very difficult one to call. And I think it'll go close.
Whether we get as close as we did for the second semi-final remains to be seen. Don't think we can get too much closer than that. We have seen some epics over the weeks here on Freesports in the IPA pool world. Jordan Shepard then, with the first break, gets a red down in the right middle, and he's got a really good spread. He's got into those so nicely, but I think the white's gone pretty safe here. We'll have to wait and see when we take a little look at the run of the balls. It's not easy for him, this.
No, and I think the best shot he's got on is well, he can go
a long plant down the cushion, maybe?
Aggressive double. Yeah, he's got the long plant. Good shot, good spot there, but he's missed it.
Oh, we got a little bit on it as well, a little tickle. But still not enough to take it on, or take it in rather. And first opening here may go to Jason. And Jordan will be so annoyed with that. Got such a good spread on the balls, and to not even have a shot really to play is a real frustrating one for him.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that Jason sends a message to Jordan that if he's going to miss, he's going to take advantage. But straight away we see
you say that. It was always set up, was it? Just didn't quite get it straight on. It just slid down the cushion a little bit, and Jason alluded to in his interview, the cushions are playing very slidey for him, and it just took a little bit of time getting used to them. Didn't quite slide that much on that shot.
No, that was just it was a difficult pot.
That's nicely done from Jordan. Plays a skill shot just to clear out the red from the corner pocket, which in turn frees up the black to go into that corner. And now he's away on the yellows. This frame might be over very, very quickly. It's the frame that he envisioned when he got into the break as well as he did.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the skill shot in a minute, but we'll just wait till Jordan's finished, because
he'll only be a sec.
it won't be long.
Like what might not necessarily be easy here, you want to leave himself as close to it as possible. That's a nice little run down, and he's played that nicely. And that's no problem at all. He's fired in that black for the first frame, and as I mentioned, the skill shot was in play there for the first time tonight. That's one of the additions to 8-ball pool, which has really made it such an exciting game to watch, and it just means that the protectionism of old style 8-ball isn't really a thing anymore. You can't just stick a ball over a pocket and expect to keep it there for the rest of the match. As we take a look at Jordan Shepherd's recent tournament history, a great run, to mention the Welsh professional in February, losing out to Ronan McCarthy, who we might see later on in this competition. But it's a great addition, the skill shot rule, Kevin. It really does keep frames open as long as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. It saves frames, lasting for forever and a day. And if you're anyone who's new to the rule, if you hit, as long as you hit your ball first, and you can put yours and your opponent's at the same time. And as you say, it stops all that negativity around, covering bags, etc. The rules make it so that you can't just rest on your laurels because you've got a bag covered, because it can soon turn round.
Of course, it's still a valid tactic. That's the thing that makes it so interesting, and that taking ownership of pockets is still a very valid tactic, and it's something that's still utilised, but it's just not the fail-safe that it used to be. And you mentioned Jordan Shepherd there, hoovered up the frame in no time at all. Jason Remington, probably not as quick a player as Jordan, but the way these balls are set up, wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't here for much longer.
Yeah, I think it's really important that Jason, after that miss in the last frame, that he does stamp some authority on this match, because one thing we know about Jordan Shepherd, if you let him get a few frames up, then he'll take some stopping.
Yeah, he has got the ability, especially the pace he plays at, just to make it seem like he's steamrolling it.
Yeah, and that's what he tries to do. He tries to impose himself, impose his style on the match, and I've seen him play matches, and he can be 3-4 up in 10 minutes, and it's sometimes very, very difficult to stop.
It's interesting. Actually, I was speaking to him earlier, just off the cameras, and he was saying at times when he plays the longer formats and formats without a shot clock, sometimes the slow players, he gets so frustrated in the game because he knows it's not necessarily their fault, but he's such a quick player. He wants to be all action all the time. He can sometimes end up sitting in his chair for 15-20 minutes at a time, just sat there frustrated, and it affects his entire game. I think that's what we saw when we saw him in the World Championships against Lee Clough. But at least in this competition, 45 seconds is no odds to him. He's going to play under that pretty much 90% of the time. But it means the opponents definitely have to up their game, especially the slower ones.
Yeah, they've almost got to play at his pace, so it brings them into his territory. So sort of we've seen the snooker shootouts and stuff like events like that. Where the quicker players generally will do well. So it's going to be interesting to see as we get to the later stages how it pans out for some of these quicker players.
Oh, Jason misses the red there down the rail. He almost looked it back into the middle, which would have been a real result for him. But Jordan back at the table. He has to play a rare safety shot. Just had nothing really open there, but it does also, in doing so, free up his difficult yellow.
Yeah, it's putting the pressure on Jason, and he can't just roll up to this red at the top and think that that's going to be good enough. He's going to have to try and come up with something a little bit better, something a bit creative. He could be looking to send the white up here, glance off that red, and try maybe send the white onto this one that's over that centre pocket. He's got to try and do something. And I think that's almost what he tried, but because of the pace that he played it, the white just slid across and didn't get anywhere near that red ball. But he's not left Jordan anything easy.
Yeah, the way the white is hugging that yellow, I think he's just trying to see if he can make a pot, and I'm not 100% sure he can.
If he could, you know, leave the white in this sort of area, he probably wouldn't leave too much.
I think that's the first time we've seen Jordan Shepherd call an extension. And even though he's going to play it straight away, he can just make that one through. Had to be precise there.
That was a very good shot. Very good shot. From my angle, it didn't look like that was that was on.
But from this position, Kevin, you expect a player of Jordan's ability to rattle through these. It's a little bit awkward, but every ball at least has a pocket. He's going to be clever with the way he positions them.
Yeah, he's going to... what's he played there? That's a terrible shot.
Well, you saw his face look to the top cushion as soon as he played that.
He's got far too much right hand side on the ball, and
yeah, he wants to go in behind the black, and I think in behind the two yellows where he's putting his cue right there. I think that's where he wanted the ball. But he hasn't even got the safety option of the yellow to the top of the table because the black's snookering him.
so is he going to look to take the white off the side rail and try and pop this yellow in the right and centre pocket? And where's the white going? Yeah, lost the white ball. Had to push the boat out a bit there because he played such a bad positional shot the shot before. So from what was a relatively easy situation for Jordan to take a 2-0 lead, he's made a bit of a hash of that.
Yeah, he certainly has. And Jason here with a pretty decent opportunity. Just frees up his middle red of the three, and from this position you really wouldn't expect Jason Remington to make a mistake here.
No, if he wants to win this match, he's got to take these out. These should be bread and butter. The only thing he needs to be careful of here is when he pops this one into the middle, that he doesn't just glance it off the other red that's over the bag. Otherwise he'd knock that on the cushion, but it's got plenty of room there. You can see he aimed near side of that pocket just to make sure that there was no chance. Slightly awkward cueing, but should be okay.
Yeah, not a shot you're expecting Jason Remington to miss in the way he's playing. I was just speaking to him ahead of the final, just off camera before his interview, and he was actually really pleased with how he was playing. Played pretty well against Michael Rhodes for long periods. He's been in good form really in the last year or so. I mentioned earlier his run to the British Professional Final in October was particularly impressive. He took Jordan Shepherd pretty much all the way in the Welsh Professional last 16 as well. He's been in good nick.
Yeah, and you look at the names on the right hand side there, you know, it does take a good player to beat him, you know. Greg Barton, Clint Ianson, Scott Gillespie, Andy Blurton, Jordan Shepherd, Luke Sangees, you know, Nicky Elliott, Michael Howe, all very, very good players, you know, and some elite players there as well, you know, in the likes of Clint and Jordan. So, you know, he's a tough match player, and you know, he's probably not kicked on from his breakthrough victory 3 or 4 years ago. And but you know, we have seen certain signs that he's sort of heading back to some great form.
Jordan gets a few balls down that, so once again, another really aggressive break. Just strike them so well. Gets balls flying all around the table. And it's rare that he comes up dry. And with the way he gets into them so well, the balls really do go flying around. And sometimes they open up, but sometimes it's really natural. They're going to come together. And it's a little bit what's happened here. He's got, you know, a few clusters all the way around the table.
Yes, he's going to be looking at reds, of course, and if he can just screw this back about 3 inches before where he landed, that would have been absolutely perfect. But I think he's still onto this this bottom red that will go into that pocket there. What he was hoping to do was to maybe finish about there. Then he could have taken that red behind the black. So now he's got to sort of push the boat out a bit now to try and develop that red behind the black. I'm not sure if he sort of lands the white here, whether he can clip that into the left corner.
Well, he's got to pop the red first.
Absolutely.
It's an uncharacteristic miss. Again, the yellow that was near it will have been playing on his mind. It always does, but it's not a pot you'd expect him to miss.
No, and he's going to start to feel a little bit frustrated, as Jordan. He knows he should have been 2-0 up in this match, and I dare say he'd have probably potted that if he was 2-0 up. And Jason's just run a little bit too far there, I think. He was just trying to leave himself an angle on this yellow that's on the white line there to develop the one that's on the rail, but I think he's just gone too far. But he's got a nice angle for the double.
He played that really nicely. He has again just slightly run out on the white ball, but I think he's okay. Played a lovely shot there.
Yeah, his work's not getting any easier though.
Yeah, sometimes find this, don't you, when players play one slightly bad positional shot and you just end up chasing it and it gets progressively worse. Just keep on digging the hole.
Absolutely. Can't tell from this angle. Is he going for the centre or another double? He's gone for the... Yeah, he's missed it on the near jaw. Near knuckle.
It was a tough shot, that, make no mistake. Really difficult angle, especially at the pace he had to play it as well.
Yeah, he couldn't just roll it in, otherwise he wouldn't have had a shot on his next yellow. He had to screw the white back, which makes the pot more difficult.
Time running.
It's another collector's item there in the Jordan Shepard safety collection. But there's a good opportunity here for Jason to reply. If you can judge that well, that's come out perfect.
Well, could he have played that better? A little applause in the audience here in Sheffield. He's played an absolute blinder there. Take a look at that. He couldn't have picked the ball up with his hand and played a better shot.
And he's missed.
And he forces Jordan into the miss, which gives Jason in turn a shot and a visit. And good chance here for Jason to win the frame from this point. Just considering his options.
So he doesn't really need to do too much.
yeah, just opts to make Jordan's ball touch difficult, and in doing so set himself up on his yellow into the bottom pocket, as Kev was so beautifully illustrating that.
Yeah, I won't leave the line on to put him off.
And nicely played, simple shot, and the black now will go to the bottom pocket.
Yeah, he's just going to run this through now. He just needs to be a little bit careful. I think he may have to run through to take the bottom of the two yellows first. Just depends what angle. It's fairly straight. Yeah, he's just had to, because he didn't quite have the perfect angle, he just had to, he couldn't take the top one of the two. But he's a little bit short on that one. He's going to have to play this with a little bottom right hand side to bring the white back to where his right hand is, his left hand on the table. And again, he's undercooked that one. And again, one loose positional shot, has a knock-on effect.
Yeah, it certainly does, and he's just trying to see, isn't he, if the angle here of the yellow takes him into the red and the black. Black might go on the move here. And Remington, I think, has already played his extension, has he not?
He's just called it just now.
Just called it. Thought for a second he was in some real shot clock trouble. But
so I think the white is going to kiss into the red, so he just needs to judge the kiss correctly and leave himself the black into the middle of the corner, and he has done
really well. It's a great shot. Played a couple of really good shots in this frame, Jason Remington. First of all, the snooker to put Jordan in all kinds of trouble, and that was a really difficult shot to get right. Even an element of luck with where the black ended up, but it's come out really nicely for him. Simple roll in, and it's 2-1 to Remington.
Yes, that's a frame, another frame that Jordan's going to think he should have done a little bit better in.
And here's what we've got coming up next week in Solihull. This is Group 6, Week 6 of the competition. Luke Sanjeev takes on Andy Burton, and Phil Parkin takes on Lee Warren. What do you make of that lineup?
Well, that first match is a mouthwatcher. Luke Sanjeev, another of these young guns coming through and quietly making his way up the rankings and coming back into some great form as well. Had a disappointing year last year, I think, after previous year where he did really well. And he's playing Andy Blurton, arguably the most improved player in the UK over the past 12 months. Rock solid player, very good. That's going to be a great match.
Got to get through this one first though, and I have a suspicion this could be probably our closest final that we've seen yet. And Jason Remington's going to come up dry there, I think. He does. Jordan Shepard took all of half a second to get himself to the table as soon as those balls stopped.
Yeah, a bit of encouragement from the audience there as well, trying to get Jordan going. But again, there is work to do. It's not. It's all straightforward. You have to work hard.
Yeah, the little cluster at the bottom of the table will cause him a little bit of grief, but I think that black does pass the yellow into the top left as we look at it now, which may give him some solace, but it's a bit of a puzzle to work out. He might want to disturb them, depending on how he sees it.
His problem is going to be getting position on it. I think he's going to put this one into the bottom right corner, bring the white down for this red that's below the black. Yeah, he's going to take the one nearest this bottom cushion, send the white up for hopefully the one into the right middle.
That's a really good shot. Played it nicely. It's not the easiest next red, but if he can pot that, the frame should be his.
This is going to take some good cueing. He's under a lot of pressure on this shot.
Played that really nicely.
Cued that like a dream.
Might as well get his running trains out for that frame. That was over in no time at all. Brilliant work from Jordan Shepard. That's what he can do.
Yeah, once he'd got that long straight ball, hit it really well. He just had to screw the white back a few inches, and yeah, he'll be feeling a lot better after that. 2-all. He's got his break cue out ready for this important 5th frame to go into the break.
That was a reverse dish as well, which is worth pointing out. Jason Remington really punished for coming up dry on that break.
It means a lot to Jordan, this. He wants to get through. That's what these top players want to be doing. They want to be playing on television, showcasing their talents to...
well, you can see what Jordan Shepard made of that break. He's absolutely disgusted with it. You can see why. Didn't get into it at all. 3 or 4 balls pretty much stationary. What happened there?
Well,
I'm sure Jordan Shepard would like to know the answer.
It's difficult to say, really. I mean, if it wasn't a perfect, if the referee had maybe just had a little gap, who knows? Or he didn't just quite time them right, which I think is probably more to the point.
That's a really good shot, actually, from Jason Remington. I think he's pretty much perfect on that red to the bottom left as we look at it from the top of the table.
Yeah, if he wants to keep this break going, he's going to have to think creatively. There's some work to be done in that top left-hand quadrant of the screen as we look. Nothing obvious. He may just look to play a little containing safety, or he may just keep going with the aggressive option, but it's difficult to see how we can do that.
Well, he's just playing a containing safety, as you mentioned. Clever little shot, actually, because the yellow coming off the cushion means it wasn't a foul.
Yeah, and I think that red goes in that bottom left-hand corner now as well.
It's actually a very good follow-up from Jordan.
A little bit of nip and tuck in this one, but I think Jordan will be looking to take the attacking option if he gets half a chance.
It's just when that's going to arrive, because with the congestion that's down there, it's not easy to plot a route up the table if he's kept being left on this top cushion.
I think that yellow goes off the red. That's what he played. He's lost the white ball. He's lost the white ball. He's tried to play the yellow in off the red, but misjudged it, and just forgot about the white ball, and handed the advantage to Jason.
Still not an easy lie, this. He's already used his extension, Jason Remington. This is where a frame like this, the shot clock can really...
He's got 7 seconds.
Effect to play it. Yeah, there you go. No less thinking about, just get it down the table, play the shot.
And played a good shot.
It's actually worked out quite nicely for him, hasn't it?
Played that with just 2 or 3 seconds left. So every red goes into a pocket. He doesn't need to develop anything. It's just all about the patterns and his positional play.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing here, isn't it? Reds all have a pocket, but because of the way they're laid out, because of the congestion that's down there, even if he's an inch out of position, it could be end of break.
So he's still got some work to do. He also needs to think about where he's going to put the black. There's no obvious pocket for it at the moment.
See there, the black doesn't. Oh, it's really tight.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be playing that.
Obviously, the red would be out of contention by that point, but that is, well, not sure that's even half pocket.
No, and
you can almost see there it doesn't either go to the left middle. He's got a bit of work to do.
And he's still got the tricky one on the just under his cueing arm there.
He's getting one yellow out of the way, but needs to play a cannon on the other one. I suppose with the red at the bottom of the table, he might have potential to move the yellow.
Yeah, he's forced into taking this one up the rail. And then he'll look to try and...
Oh, well, he didn't want to miss it. That goes without saying.
Yeah, he was forced into that difficult pot, and then to leave himself this one into the bottom left so he could try and develop a shot on the black.
As you can see there again, Jordan racing back to the table.
Yeah, sometimes he's a bit too quick sometimes, but... he's going to look to put this one into bottom right and then just try and develop the one that's on the side rail, just to knock it off. He doesn't want it to... he wanted to hit that full in the face.
Yeah, caught it half ball with the cushion, didn't he? And just sort of volleyed it up the table. It's not in an ideal position, particularly with the red blocking the top corner pocket.
So he's either going to leave a double, or he's going to try and move it. He certainly can't move it from any of those. So I think he's almost forced into leaving himself a double. So that's pretty good.
Oh, he misses
Where's
double.
the
Where's the black going? Oh. Wow, how's your luck? How is your luck? Jordan Shepard can't believe it. Black goes into the corner pocket. That's the end of the frame. And Jordan Shepard is 3-2 down. Well, chronic bad luck for him there. And of course, he's He's missed the pot, but the way it's gone off the jaws, then cannon into the black, cruise into the bottom pocket.
Yeah, it is bad luck. But you know, it all stemmed from his first shot where he misjudged the cannon to develop his yellow. If he'd have played that shot correct, he wouldn't have been leaving, doubles, and he'd have had a nice easy pattern to win the frame. So you know, it all stemmed back from that sort of fairly careless development shot.
We've got the second half of this enthralling final coming up for you very shortly. It's after the break. Well, there's our two players. Penny for the thoughts of Jordan Shepherd in particular. Here's what happened at the end of the last frame. Took us out to break. He was not a happy man after that one. He's still got time to recover this. It's 3-2. It's a very, very close final. But Jason Remington has the advantage and indeed has the break. Heading into the 6th frame. And he's playing well as Jason. Gets into that break beautifully. But I think that's going to come up dry. It does. And Jordan Shepherd immediately had a chance at redemption from the last frame there. Ball's flying absolutely everywhere at a great pace. Look at the spread he's got. But somehow Jason Remington just doesn't got the drop, and frustration for Jason. His consolation is he hasn't left Jordan anything easy, or maybe even potable. It's just a containing shot from Jordan. And whoever gets the first look in this frame should have a pretty good advantage, because it's not as if it's a bad spread. But there was just nothing on straight off the dry break.
No, I've just been out into the arena, and you can feel the tension out there, and Jordan's frustrations at not having any pot on after Jason's dry break.
Oh, Jason tried to pot something there. It didn't quite come off for him, and now it's open for Jordan here. Definitely got a pot on now. It's a tough shot that for Jason, because he didn't want to. He wanted to be reds, and I think Jordan wanted to be yellows, because the red was very much onto the middle. Misses the plant though. You see the frustration knocking the table.
Yeah, and he's just given Jason an excellent chance to notch his 4th frame on the board.
Yeah, they'll drop in. Let's just take a look at the shot that Jordan tried. It was a difficult shot. I just wonder if it didn't actually plant.
He's tried to make the plant, and yeah, he didn't seem to spend much time lining it up. But that's the speed at what he plays. But that mistake could cost him this 6th frame.
Yeah, Jason in at yellows. It's interesting how much the decision making changed there, because Jason absolutely didn't want to be yellows. That's why he tried to pop the reds over the middle bag, and then Jordan had a very easy red into the middle, which he turned down to take on a very difficult planted yellow.
Yeah, I think the shot clock can have an impact on the decision making sometimes. But yeah, it's Jason who's gradually taking control of this match. a few unforced errors from Jordan, and it's from looking like he was going to go 2-0 up in the match. He's now got a fight on his hands.
Yeah, he really has.
So he's just going to take that one into the top middle as we look. He may just bring the white forward a touch and then take this yellow into the bottom left. Just depends on the angle.
Topped it the other way around.
If the yellow goes in the middle, then that's okay. But I'm surprised at the shot selection. I thought he may have just run that white through and then take the yellow suggested. But as we see, every player sees it differently. He needs that to hold up.
Well, it just about cuts now, but this is far more awkward than he would have liked. Because I think the white just has to hold the white so he's not snooking on the black. That red could become a blocker, so this is a little bit more tricky than it maybe first looks. Still, it's a shot that you expect Jason to make it. Just be careful. Is he going to cannon the red? He does, but the black remains on. So he isn't snookered, that's the main thing.
Yeah, he's just got there, played it well.
Yeah, played it really nicely, 4-2 for Jason Rivington. He goes into a 2-frame cushion. That's the wonderful trophy that the players are all playing for. And a reminder of what we've already seen so far over the first month of action in the IPA Freesports Champions Cup. Mark Farnsworth, Ronan McCarthy, Craig Walsh and Christian Phillips all through. Week 5 is Sheffield. We're here right now. We've got 3 weeks of Solihull. Then we go to Chester, Cardiff, Twickenham, back here to Sheffield. And the last 2 weeks up in Bonnie, Scotland, where, well, hopefully the temperatures have risen by the time we head up to Scotland in towards the summer. But we really do span the length and breadth of the UK over the course of the 16 weeks, the opening round of the Champions Cup. And as you mentioned earlier, Kev, the world champion in action, Ben Davies in Twickenham. We'll see the runner-up in Chester, Simon Davies. Simon Ward, I should say.
Ward, yeah.
And yeah, the best players are all in it, and they're all in it to win it as well.
They certainly are, and I think you mentioned earlier about when we go to Scotland. I mean, they're going to be some fiercely competitive some matches up there. But we're going to see it every week. Lots of great players coming through thick and fast over the next 16 weeks. So there's only one place to be on Mondays.
Well, if you take a look at the players who've qualified through there already, you just imagine the sort of lineups we're going to see in week 17 and 18 for the knockout stages, looking at some real heavyweights.
Yeah, the last 16, it's beginning to take shape now, and already we know one of our last 16 matches, which is Mark Farnsworth and Christian Phillips. So we know that's going to be a crackerjack match, and Ronan McCarthy and Craig Marsh there in the bottom half of the draw, but there's no easy sections of the draw, and it's going to be a great battle to see who is our inaugural Champions Cup winner.
Jordan Shepherd has absolutely crunched that break, really put a lot into that, and he's got a great spread, and the balls are pretty much 50-50. It's going to be yellows is the obvious choice. Does have to have a little bit of a thought about the black as well, because it's currently tied up.
Yeah, that's a nice shot there from Jordan, and an important pot as well, because he's missed a couple that he wouldn't normally expect to miss. He's still got the black to develop, so he's still got work to do in this frame. think if he can see it, he'll be taking the one into the to the middle, which I think he is doing. Oh, he's just fired that one into the top. I think he's trying to get himself going.
Yeah, the thing is with Jordan, he will always back his cueing. You know, he's not afraid to punch a pot in, as he's done a couple of times there, and when it comes off, it does just look so smooth and great to watch.
Yeah, he is one of the most watchable players on the planet, to be honest. He's definitely got X factor, and yeah, we're just you can see there, just perfect positional shot, no messing.
Yeah, that wasn't the most difficult life in the break, but it wasn't the easiest, and that's dispatched.
Yeah, that's top draw pull. Once he developed that black, that was the only real issue he had to deal with in that break. But putted some, smashed that long one in, developed the black, and then ran around the table and finished the frame off in probably less than 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's a shame Emilio Sullivan already took the nickname of the Rocket, because it would certainly apply, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jordan's got a nickname, to be honest, but certainly something Speedy Shepherd.
I'll let you run that by him.
Yeah,
see what he says.
It's probably not the best.
Jason Rewington then back with cue in hand. He's got the next break, and he's just seen Jordan absolutely reel off the last one. So back within one, and it's a close one.
Yeah, this frame is huge, and as all the frames will be now. It's come up dry.
And a reminder, as we tick towards the half-10 mark, you don't need to worry about missing any of the action. We'll stay with it live here on Freesports. This final may well go the distance, and if it does, well, with these two players in the form they're in, could be a cracking watch.
Yeah, see, he took a bit of pace off that break, did Jason. I don't know if that's a plan or just what he feels more comfortable with. He knows if the balls just remain a little bit messy, that he may well think that he might be favourite if it turns out to be that kind of frame.
That's a really good shot.
Yeah, they're not easy, those shots.
Played it with as much pace as he dared.
Just enough to drop in. So he needs a nice little kiss here.
I'm not sure he's got one.
He's got another clip down the rail. He's a little bit unlucky. Just wanted a little bit more pace, and he would have been okay.
Well, that one went. I think it's safe to say.
He's not holding back, that's for certain. He's got a difficult clip now into what we call a blind pocket, into that left centre. This is a tricky little shot. Well, it would be for normal people.
Even for the difficult shots, he really isn't hanging around, Jordan. Just wonder if he's got a bedtime.
So, I think he's got a buster catch.
This one is one of the easier shots he's had in this frame. He's had to play a couple of really difficult ones. This one is far more routine. It goes pretty safely. He's on the black. And that's a couple of frames reeled off in absolutely no time at all. And that was particularly impressive given how those balls were set up in the second one.
Yeah, he was definitely on it there. He was he had the finish line in his sights for that frame. He wasn't taking a backward step. And quick as a flash, 4-2 becomes 4-all. And that is a reverse dish there from Jason's dry break. And you know, that 3 dry breaks to 1, that not a stat that Jason would like to be winning, but
take a look at the balls potted, considering they're both on 4 frames apiece. Obviously, I know Jason got one of his frames through a potting of the black from Jordan, but really is a pretty stark contrast. Jason's had much less table time. Got a good break there, though.
yellow in the middle.
Jordan, I should say, gets a good break there.
So he's well, at first glance I'm looking at yellows, but he's looking at, well, this is
Extension.
adventurous.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he doesn't like the look of the yellows, because this is a difficult shot, but he's played it really well. Just sort of get the sense that Jordan's really finding his groove here.
Yeah, I'm sensing that as well. He's tried to up a gear, and you know, whilst I think it's fair to say he's not at his 100% best, he's certainly trying to force himself on and to get the job done.
He's reeled off 2 frames in a matter of minutes, and he'll be hoping to make that 3rd and be 1 away.
You can see his pace around the table's picked up now. He's sensing blood.
See there where he wants to leave the cue ball. Yeah, be a big screw back hit.
Punch it off the rail with some side. He needs to travel another 6-inch.
Makes it difficult.
So he's just got to make sure he judges the kiss onto the bottom red.
Oh, how about that?
Which he did, but I'm not sure if he can't get this red into the bottom right, it's actually not done him any favours. It looks like he's got a gap.
Yeah, the way Jordan Shepard played that makes me think he meant it. That one goes, but I agree that the one on the bottom right is the issue, and I think it just squeezed past. In fact, I think he can play it now.
He's got to cue this. No.
Oh, and he didn't.
Come on, mate.
He needs to cue that absolutely perfectly.
He got up on the shot there. He didn't stay down on the shot, I don't think there. I think he was up quite quick off it. So just when you thought Jordan Shepard was going through the gears, the table's turned, and it's Jason Remington who has got a great chance now to put himself 1 frame away from the last 16.
Yeah, he did think right at the start the yellows did look, it was a pretty even table in the sense that both the reds and the yellows looked pretty promising. They both needed some development, but obviously now quite a few of the reds have gone. A lot of that development has almost been done for Jason.
It's just a fraction short. I think he's okay. He can just screw across in between those 2 reds.
Just wants to be behind it, and he's not. Perfect shot.
Almost got into it too much, but he's okay.
Yeah, played that nicely, and you would really back Jason from here to make this 5-4. just as it appeared that Jordan Shepherd was, well, he's on the comeback trail, the comeback sprints. He's going to have to do it again.
Yeah, if Jason can pinch this frame, it's his break. Jordan Shepherd may have played his last shot in the 2018 Champions Cup. Such is the brutality of this game.
Big shot this.
Jack,
Yeah, gets it. Absolutely spot on, and Jason Remington then is one away from a spot in the second round, and the first upset that we've seen in the Champions Cup so far. Jordan Shepherd, one of the high seeds. And that's what we're all playing for. That's what we're here to win. Just a reminder, what we've got coming up next week in Solihull. Luke Sangees versus Andy Blurton. Phil Parking versus Lee Warren. Another wonderful week of Champions Cup pool on the way next week in Solihull.
Lee Warren, the local qualifier, he'll be well supported against Phil Parkin. So expecting a good crowd in Solihull next week. And as I said before, Luke Sangees, Andy Blurton. That should be a cracker as well.
Who will they be joining, or looking to join, in the second round? Will it be this man here? Jason Remington is
Jason's great, leading 5 frames to 4.
he's breaking for the match. If he can get a ball in and a good light, the way he's playing, you'd really fancy him. He's been very solid this evening.
Yeah, very solid. He's just going to be praying he hears that noise of a ball dropping in the pocket. He's crunched those, and he's got a red.
Oh, this looks...
But
wow. I was going to say, it looked good, but actually, the way it's ended up, he's going to have some real work to do. If he'd have stopped it about a second before the balls finished where they did, he'd have been delighted, but the little bit of extra movement has just brought them back together. So he's got a few clusters which are going to give him some real issues.
yes, it's fairly obvious where his issue is, but he's going to try and push the white into there to develop that yellow, just exactly like that.
Played that really well, and he might even have the angle to develop the next yellow here, off the ball over the pocket, but the one next to the black.
Yeah, just not sure about that one, whether that one goes past that red. And obviously this one is causing him some issue. I think if he can hit this thin enough, he can kiss into them.
He'd look to leave himself on the one at the top cushion. He's on it. It's a difficult one, but he's on it.
It's very difficult. If he wins the match from this visit, it'll be well earned. That's for certain. A lot of work to do. I think this yellow does go into this pocket. So you know, if he can at some point leave the white somewhere here, then.
Well, he's opted not to take the yellow along the top rail. Didn't like the angle, and he, well, it feels like he's battling almost against the tide a little bit here, Kev.
Yeah, I think he's thinking, well, whatever the balls are, I'm going for it. You know, it's my chance to get through, so I'm not going to die wondering. So I think he's going to give it everything he can in this frame. He might not get another opportunity, but he's up against it now. That's for certain.
Well, this actually now looks like such an even frame, doesn't it? Really does.
I think if you can just drop that yellow in front of the red, to try and take temporary control, just like that. So yeah, he's played it well. So pressure on Jordan. So it's a bit of a careless one. What he was trying to do was to plant those two reds onto the red on the rail to try and cover this bottom right hand bag, because he knows that yellow goes into it. So
well, Jason here is just looking at the skills shot. If you can get the yellow onto the reds, onto the yellow, he can pretty much do what he likes. That back yellow will go.
Yeah, so what he's looking to play the plan. So when this red goes onto that yellow, that red will come out of the way here, and then hopefully just leave this yellow on into the same bag.
Yeah, you can see that's the angle he's looking for on the red, just lining it up. He's still got the yellow to worry about further down the table, but this is a really important shot in the frame. Plays it really well.
Yeah, absolutely perfect.
Now, the positional shot for this next part is absolutely everything. If he gets it nailed on, he should win the frame.
So he needs to sort of get the white into this area. Maybe just a little bit more to the left of that.
Just wants it to keep coming.
So, where's the black going to go? I don't think it goes in the middle. So what he's got to try and do...
Well, that's how much of the yellow he can see. I think that is the potting angle this requires.
He needs to get the white to the right-hand side of the table to leave the black into the opposite left pocket. This looks like a great shot. If he misses that red, that's a great shot.
Well, an excellent shot that is. Absolutely superb from Jason Remington. Pot was excellent. Cue ball is great. But he's pretty much got to do a mirror image almost of the shot he's just played with the black. You can see slightly more of it. This for the match and a place in the second round of the Champions Cup.
Fist
And
bump
look
from
what
Jason.
it means to Jason Remington.
Big fist bump there from Jason.
Did you say first or seven? Did you say first or seven?
And the referee having a little bit of a chat, but now that is confirmed. Jason Remington is the winner of week number 5 here in Sheffield. The final match stats. The Englishman has done it. 6-4. Tremendous performance in the final, and let's have a word, because that final was top quality, Kevin. The best one we've seen so far in terms of competitiveness.
Yeah, had everything. It had the thrills and spills. It had some great clearances. It had some incredible misses, and at the end there, some superb positional shots from Jason Remington to deservedly get through to the last 16. It's a great performance from him. We'll see him again in the coming weeks.
We certainly will. The first seed has fallen in the Champions Cup, and it's Jordan Shepherd who is the man unfortunate enough to get that moniker. Tremendous performance from Jason Remington, and we will be hearing from the victor here in Sheffield after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Very warm welcome back to Sheffield. I'd like to say joined by the winner of the Champions Cup week number 5. First off, how do you feel to make it through to round number 2?
Yeah, I feel really good. Really pleased with how I played. Took my chances. Again, I liked the first match. Sort of took my foot off the gas a little bit, probably with the brakes and whatever, but no, really pleased with how I played, so yeah, made up that. Great.
And in terms of that final frame, again, we did it the hard way, but I think you always knew it was going to be the case. The 2 shots that really won you the match, well, the 3 including the black, all very, very difficult. Did you feel like you just had to take that little bit of something special to get you over the line tonight?
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is with Jordan, it can just seem like stamp authority in the game, and all of a sudden, you can run 2 or 3 games off you so quick. But I just think I knew I was playing well enough. I've struggled a bit with table a bit tonight, to be fair. It's caught me out a couple of times, but I still felt really good. So I fancied getting the pots. I was struggling a bit with the white, but I made that 3-ball plant in the end, took the yellow, come up round angles, and I knew as soon as I could see black, I was never going to miss that. I'd have to get a kick to miss that because, well, the bag looked like a bucket, to be honest, so I just felt good. So sometimes, do you know what I mean? I thought, if I miss this, it's not meant to be, but I never really thought I was going to miss it.
And the first man to knock out a seed in the Champions Cup, you might act as a little bit of inspiration for some of the players throughout the rest of the competition. How do you feel heading into round 2?
Yeah, really happy. Yeah, can't wait to get back into it. So I've put some time in this week. I've been playing a lot at local pool club. Like who sponsors me Lennon's Pool and Snookerlight, so I've put some hours in. So I think it paid off tonight, but I'm really looking forward to the next stages. I've got a bit of time off now, but yeah, I'm buzzing.
Well, we can't wait to watch. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And let's take a little look at how he managed it.